Hey, that show yesterday is up to like I think 1,400 views. But I told Ken yesterday, I was like, they're gonna play better without Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Well, you know his little sister.
It's gotta be Peter. It's gotta be
Yo,
Peter.
who is that dude
No,
on
his
the
sister
left?
takes over.
What's happening?
Q, what up, baby?
What's good? What's good, Kyle?
Man, welcome to the A, man.
Yeah. They got
Hey man, it's lovely.
How long you in town?
We're gonna be in town probably just 2 days. On Thursday, probably leaving at night, probably.
Okay. You enjoying it so far?
It's only like 6 hours.
yeah. Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah, we going. Yeah, man, it's pretty nice. Like, it's got nice vegan food down here, nice
Oh, yeah.
wings. You know what I'm saying? Pretty solid.
Have you tried? Hey, have you tried Cafe Sunflower?
I'm a.
Nah, it's cool, but like, cause like good vegan food is amazing,
Amazing.
but
Yeah,
it's
it is.
like it's such a small percentage.
Yeah.
Well, if you're gonna go somewhere, but like people, I've had like home cooked vegan food, nigga, you wouldn't even know. Like,
If y'all come to Richmond, Virginia, ever go to New Vegan, or if you're in Washington D.C.
Mic check.
The best one is in Washington D.C. It's like yo.
what it do with it?
Y'all sound fine.
Mine on. Yo.
How do I sound, Kenneth?
What's up?
You good, Kyle?
What's up?
12 Kyle, what's going on?
Nicholas, what's going on, brother?
You gonna be on the same side today, or you going against me?
Hey, you always on your own island, bro.
Yeah, you are. You on Revis Island, man. Can't believe the disrespect you was.
Mic
spitting
check.
Hmm?
I got a homie in St. John's, VA. So I may have to.
Hey, Nick, he's on the show today because of being on the other side.
Yams.
All right, let's go ahead and get started.
Sheldon with his Panther gear on.
Hey, you see it, right?
Oh Lord.
Hey, Cam look good for. Oh wait, not my fault.
This is the place where sports opinions collide. Dead End Sports. I'm your host, Kenneth B. Inns. Joining me on the show, we got Nikki Duce.
What's good? What's happening?
FIFO 24/7.
All day, every day. What it do?
Shelton J.
What's the word, man? What's happening?
The OG, 12 Kyle.
Back in the building. What's good? What's good?
And live in person,
Yeah.
we have Q the Six Man sitting with us. What's going on, brother?
What's good? Back like Lou Will.
Bro, we got the hot spot on you now, bro. You trying to move up a little bit, but they got you too bright in the camera.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, so QQ's a busy man, so we're gonna he'll be leaving a little earlier, but you know he's gonna kick it with us for about an hour or maybe a little under. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into the show and not hold this up any longer.
All right, since me and Baron in the lead, let's jump into NBA before we get to NFL. A lot has happened, man. We now officially have our finals contestants between the Miami Heat and the Los Angeles Lakers. But before we get to that, let's talk about the runner-ups. You know what I mean, for the West and the East. First question to y'all is: what should Denver do next season to get back to the Western Conference Finals?
Get rid of Paul Millsaps.
I knew you was gonna start there.
Hey man, look, he got to go. Try to re-sign Jeremy Grant because I think I like what he did.
It's too late.
I know. I saw he opt out.
No, I'm saying it's too late because LeBron was talking. You see, he was talking to him after the game. Well, it's too late. He's a Laker now.
But you know, Michael Porter Jr. I mean, that's really it. Get rid of Millsaps, put in Michael Porter Jr. You know. Yeah, sometimes the best way to get better is to stay in pat. When you laid the foundation right, you ain't got to do much when you right at the point. And that's where they are right now. So they don't have to do much. I 100% agree with Ken. Millsap, his time is over. He was a veteran presence in that locker room, taught these young guys how to be professionals. Now it's time for him to go somewhere else to compete for a championship, a la David Lee, even though he didn't win no championship. But he was instrumental in that foundation, that original core of Golden State Warriors wouldn't be where they are right now without David Lee. and he's an unsung hero for that squad. And I think that's what Millsap will be for this team. So they just got to move on from him. Play Michael Porter. I've been on it. Give that man more minutes. Allow that man to make mistakes. Because you see what's happening with Tyler Hero. Supposed to play in that boy. Or you turn over, don't worry about it. Come back and get the bucket.
Right.
But that's all Denver needs to do. Once they do that, next year they'll be back. They'll go far in the playoffs next year.
I think I agree with, I would say 85% staying pat, but I think you got to make one trade, and I think that you should get a guy like a Drew Holiday. I think you got a guy like a Monte Morris who is great off the bench. I think he gives you a little bit of a spark, but I think you got to get better defensively with your guards. So I think that maybe targeting a guy like that or somebody who is equivalent to giving you perimeter defense is probably the way to go. And then, like you said, Porter has to get more minutes. He'll get better in the offseason. And we will see probably an evolution of a three-headed monster, hopefully. And if they add a fourth, it'll probably be for a guy like a Drew, or they'll swing for the fences for a Bradley Beal. And that, by itself, could swing the entire West to a three-favorite race.
That contract ugly.
It is, but Beal is one of the best players to me in the NBA. One of the most efficient offensive guys, one of the young best. He's still under 27 years old. And people don't realize that. So putting him next to a Murray, it makes Murray more dangerous. Even if you get a Drew, that takes the burden off of Murray, allows him to score more, allows Jokic to do his thing. Because Drew, to me, like Kevin Durant said, I've been saying this for years. I'm glad he finally said it. But KD said that Drew is like the best two-way guard in the NBA. And I think that you have to look at impact on defense and offense, and that on Denver could be actually dangerous.
What about you, Kyle?
Yeah, I agree with both FIFO and Q. I don't think this team is that far away at all. I mean, like, they're just one extra perimeter defender, like Q said. If it's somebody that they can get that doesn't necessarily, command the ball or command a whole bunch of shots, someone that's going to, play outside and play defense, this team is going to be a team to be reckoned with. I mean, like, nobody expected them to get as far as they got. So, and I mean, they really, give or take a game or two here or there, they could have pushed, the Lakers even further. So this team isn't far away. And I mean, looking at what, the West will look like next season, they're going to be right there in the mix. So they're not far away at all. I would, like you said, stand pat to some degree, but try to get yourself a free agent, defender that is going to, guard the perimeter and, not necessarily ask for a whole bunch of shots, because honestly, there are not a lot of shots to go around. But if you can get that, look out.
Man, I think they need to play bowl more is what they need to do. That's pretty much it. To be honest, what I agree with what y'all saying pretty much, except for the fact that I think that's what Gary Harris is supposed to be. If you can somehow convince him to be that 3-and-D player and take on that tough defensive guard assignment, then you'll be okay. And then you still got Will Barton. So with him being gone, that's actually your third scorer right there. So you got everything that you need. I don't think I would touch it much, other than, like Ken said, maybe get rid of Millsaps. But or if you're gonna keep him around more, kind of like how Udonis Haslem was, because he was a good mentor. And when you need him, I don't know if you remember when Juwan Howard played with the Heat. Even they would use him in spots when necessary, but he wasn't playing that much. Even Vince Carter in his latter years. That's kind of how I see Paul Millsap at this stage, like kind of, turning it over to Michael Porter Jr., letting him play now that he's healthy, and just really being there for mentorship. Because I think, maybe he does more of that than we know behind the scenes with the kids. So that's important. So I would keep him around. I wouldn't necessarily get rid of anybody if I had a choice.
Well, I think it comes down to money, because Udonis was a very cheap player at the end of that his tenure with the Miami Heat. And another thing, like, man, I think Gary Harris is supposed to be that guy, but he's not an elite defender. He's a very good defender.
His hair too curly.
What you trying to say, Ken? But nah, like I definitely like Gary Harris, but I think the Will Barton, he's gonna have to be thrown into a trade. I think Gary Harris into a trade, and I think that if you can't upgrade that perimeter with a Bradley Beal, I make that move, because that was the whole reason of having all of these draft picks for Carmelo. Either you're gonna keep the team as is, or you're gonna move a couple of those pieces once they mature a little bit to get that bona fide piece. There's no question about Bradley Beal. There's still a question about Gary Harris. There's still a question about Bobo. Will Barton is, sparse type player.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But we know what Bradley Beal is. And that takes, like Q said, it swings the pendulum a little bit. So if that is on the table, I have to strongly consider that.
I would also look for Karis LeVert in Brooklyn.
Oh,
And that's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, that would be a nice move if
Mhm.
possible. But that'll be. I don't know if that's probable that they'll be able to get those guys. But both those moves, you're right, that would be nice moves.
Yeah, I think I don't really know what to do. I feel like any big move would cause a huge catastrophe to the team, and then I don't know how that will. Because then you gotta do a whole chemistry reset. And I like what Denver has as far as chemistry wise, but I feel like they need a legit pure point guard. And that's just my vision. Like I would think of Rondo for this team because I was thinking about playmaking throughout the whole point when they were in half court sets with the Lakers. They could not get a legit set in to get an easy bucket or somebody to create. It was more Jamal Murray literally throwing up some bullshit. Well, not bullshit because he made it consistently. So him doing him. And then they were just like, okay, this is how we stay in the game. But obviously that's not sustainable as we saw going to the end of the series. So to me, looking at how Rondo makes a lot of easy plays for the Lakers, especially for the superstars, like I think something like that. I don't know if perimeter defense is something that's needed. It's just more of like we need just easy buckets. Like Jokic, he can do enough, but obviously he can't. They had him in foul trouble. That's most like because he had to play the point guard and be in the paint and guard LeBron sometimes. It's like that's a lot of responsibility for one of your best players.
But some of the best teams, right, they're super athletic, right, on the wings. And Denver is very long. But they're not that athletic. Like Gary Harris is a good athlete. He's a good player, not an elite at anything. Good three-point shooter, good defender, good on offense. But what is he elite at? You know what I'm saying? You look at Will Barton, elite playmaker, very sporadic type guy, super energy guy. But defense, he's solid, but he's not elite. Bradley Beal is elite. Bradley Beal could play guys that are bigger than him too. You know what I'm saying? So I slightly agree with the point guard, but how many pure point guards right now are available like in a trade? You know what I'm saying? We know Bradley Beal is someone on the market. It's like an unknown commodity right now in the NBA. Everybody talking about Bradley
The
Beal.
only pure is probably CP.
And he gonna cost a lot.
He's
That's all. Yeah.
That would be a good little move.
If you win,
Hey, somebody in the chat mentioned Oladipo.
Oladipo. I'm questioning
He's too
Oladipo now too.
He's too injury prone.
Injury prone is what I was thinking. But
He has a lot of injuries, but also at this stage in his career, is he still elite?
and he seems like he's a guy that's going to need the ball.
Really, the
Mhm.
the perfect third
Hey
option.
Nick, I
would be-
want to disagree with you. You mentioned about their defense, their lack of that you didn't think defense was important. I think defense is going to be the key, especially when you're talking about adding pieces, because one of the things that we saw with Denver in this playoff run was that when they got behind, when they really needed to get a stop, they couldn't get stops. And a lot of times, particularly for younger teams, if you can play defense, that'll help transition to your offense. We see that with the Lakers. The Lakers have nights where they don't shoot the ball particularly well outside of LeBron and AD, but they turn it up defensively, and that gets them easy buckets in transition, and that makes a huge difference, especially for a younger team. That's what they're going to need. They're going to need more defense. I mean, we know they can score. Scoring is not an issue for them. It's going to have to come on the defensive end. And again, because of the way that the West is structured, at some point in the fourth quarter, you got to get stops.
But to me, I gotta challenge you because like there were times where Denver came back in the game and then it was like we just need another bucket. Like right, like they were rallying with the Lakers for a while for some of those, especially like it's like game 2 or even like game 5 and 6, and it's like where's the easy bucket when the Lakers were like
there was
struggling
no game 6.
or game 5, one of them. There was a time where like the Lakers would like stall on offense and Rondo would come down, get an easy lob to Dwight Howard, easy lob to JaVale McGee, easy, kick out to somebody because he penetrated and, he does what Rondo does. But when you see Denver on the other side, Murray got to come down, try to shoot a 3. he breaks, or someone they'll try to penetrate, they'll see the big wall, they'll kick it out to Grant, he'll swing it out to somebody else, and it'll just be like a hockey thing to nothing. And that's why I'm just saying, like, they can get back in games. We see them get back in game and cut leads, but I just don't see them getting those buckets that keep you in the game. That's like, all right, we cut it down from
defense.
seven
You
to
can
six.
get some of those buckets. That's all I'm saying. Especially like FIFO mentioned, with a defender like a Drew Holiday. You know what I'm saying? When you have perimeter defenders, those guys are there for that particular reason. Kim mentioned Gary Harris was supposed to do that for this team. He did it in spots, and that's
But the
why
perimeter is not what hurt them. It was LeBron penetrating in the paint area.
But penetration begins at the point of the perimeter. So you got to
Preach.
be able to account for that.
But no one's
at the
going to
top.
stop LeBron at
No,
the top.
no,
of the
Not
game.
stop,
but
but
that's
force him to
LeBron.
the help. Force to help.
Force him to the help. I get that, but like the Lakers did not have a consistent 3-point shooter. That's not what killed the Nuggets. It was the fact that AD and their bigs got in the way of what they do best, and that's they'll Jamal Murray getting in the paint.
So
No,
Well, let me
Nurkic
say
getting in
this.
the
Let me
paint.
say this. I think that that's a good point. I think that it also neglects the fact that perhaps there's might be two conversations happening, but I think that perhaps you have to think about the fact that an added perimeter defender would get back a lot of those possessions because they were blitzing Jokic with two, and who is the guard to take that pressure off? It's Jamal, but we see that, like you said, that Gary Harris is not that guy who's just gonna give you 20 a game. He can't give you 19 a game like that when you're in the playoffs. And plus, we're talking about hopefully the NBA going back on regular world, so new road games. You have to account for that. And I think that you need veteran presences and guards and perimeter guys who have been there before. You're going to need a Drew Holiday to be there when they have Jokic at the high pick and they got Dwight and AD on them. Who do you kick out to? They're going to run right to Jamal. They're going to try to switch everything. So who is the guy to get those possessions back in transition when Rondo's being careless, when Caruso's handling the ball? The fact that they have Caruso bringing the ball up, Caruso getting breakaway dunks, that gets erased if you have real quality perimeter guard play. And I don't think that Jamal Murray's that guy.
Yeah, and even on the
Last
offensive
point, and
side,
then we have to move on.
and even on the offensive side of it, right? Like it takes pressure off of Jamal Murray because we're not talking about just a Tony Allen type of guy. We're saying a 3-and-D type of guy, a guy that can knock down shots, a guy that we can't leave him. Bradley Beal is that. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, I know we're harping on one particular player, but somebody in the mold of that, somebody that you're not gonna stop LeBron, but if you switch up on him, I'm good with it. I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gotta worry. We ain't gotta send 2-3 people as soon as he touched LeBron. He could hold his own. You know what I'm saying? So I think on both ends it helps, but I think that because the offense is so good, because as Michael Porter Jr. gets more minutes, he's gonna score more.
Right.
And that's not gonna impact Jamal Murray or Jokic. It's just not because he scores in the flow. He gets easy buckets. He gets putbacks. You know what I'm saying? But if you got another guy that is bona fide 20 and we look for him and the ball swings to him and it's bang, it's a wrap. Like those guys they're already really good, almost at the elite level. They're starting to get there. You add a guy like that, they're almost championship favorites. Almost.
Well, when we're talking about Denver, I forgot there's a big story that was moving over the NBA today with Doc Rivers. Well, not today, but just so far the last few days with Doc Rivers getting let go by the Clippers. Right move, wrong move. Moving forward next season for the Clippers.
Hey, really quick on that, we got a couple super chats about that very thing. So we appreciate that, Haley and Tracy. We appreciate both y'all for that. And it's on that same subject. So Haley said, do y'all think that it's fair that Kawhi is being blamed for Doc Rivers being fired? Also, if the Clippers do decide to trade Paul George, who should they trade him for?
Okay, let's
do it first. Let's just cover Doc first.
Yeah. So is it fair
that he got fired?
Mhm.
Yes, of course.
Okay, and also, is it fair for Kawhi to be blamed for it?
I guess it's fair because they will blame LeBron. So I guess
about
it's
you?
fair. But I don't think it should be because he don't talk. So
Well, for me, it comes with the superstar territory. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, all decisions basketball related have to come through you to somehow, some way. And you either give the nod of approval or the nod is like, yeah, we can move on. And it just comes with that territory. So I'm okay with Kawhi getting the blame. Is it fair? I think at this point, yes, because the voice can get a little old. People forget he's been coaching the Clippers for 7 years. That's almost a decade.
This is pretty much a new roster though.
But it's the same 3-1 lead loss.
But he's talking about the voice getting old. The voice wouldn't get old.
Well, they still had Harrell and Bev last year, and I think that guys were looking at that team like, yo, we were scrappy. We all showed up in practice. We all had the lunch pail. Now you have a guy like PG who people in that locker room apparently just reports. They think that they are just as good as Paul George.
It's arguable.
And they're like, yo, I was 6th man of the year. Yo, I'm Pat Bev. I'm just as good as impactful as Paul. I'm not saying these people are in their right minds. I'm not saying that they are, but that's what they are saying.
Well, who was better against Dallas, PG or Lou Will?
And that's what you got to say.
We know the results.
So to me, yes, it's fair to both.
Yeah. I don't think it's. I mean, well, it's always all is fair. But I would have given him another year. I think I would have ran it back. I saw an interesting point made today about how, I don't know if y'all remember, but the Clippers didn't even want to play in the bubble. They didn't even want to be there. So in saying that, you had a team that was kind of with lukewarm enthusiasm. It's kind of hard, even for a coach, to get them up to play in this bubble type atmosphere. I think I would have given him one more shot just to see where he could have taken his roster to. But that would have depended on that star, that Kawhi, that interview with Kawhi. Let's talk to Kawhi about this. Bring him in and see what he thought. Not just Kawhi, a couple of the other guys like Lou and a couple of those guys. Like, what y'all think about what's going on with Doc? You think we need to go in a different direction? That would have been where that would have come from. So in saying that, yeah, it's fair to blame Kawhi because he could have stepped up and said, I want to keep my coach.
Yeah, I think I don't
they
deal
did say
in,
it. They just didn't hear it.
Yeah.
I don't deal in fair, like Shell said, I don't deal in fair because it is what it is. I'll say this about Doc. I would not have fired him because on the simple fact of when you look at his track record, when you look at the fact that Doc got there, I want to say he was hired and then like 3 months later they were dealing with Donald Sterling. So he navigated that team and that franchise through all of that BS. He had to deal with an up-and-coming Warriors team that no.
Can't hear you, Kyle.
We lost you, Kyle.
I guess he can't hear us.
Kyle.
Yo.
Is there a better coach?
Oh,
Do you have a better coach out there than Doc Rivers? I don't think that there's a better coach for this team than Doc Rivers. So if you fire Doc Rivers, who do you hire and expect to do better? Because it's
Ty
pretty
Lue.
much,
Yep.
well,
Ty
you
Lue.
could.
That's it.
Come on.
Hey, look.
Okay,
Nick Nurse was on Dwayne Casey's bench, and people thought that
Nick Nurse,
Mazai
second
was a little crazy
Right.
for that. So
And-
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but we
It's
know what Ty
championship
Lue
or
did.
bust. So what happens is that let's say they don't do anything next year. You got Kawhi and Paul George, who are, I guess what are unrestricted free agents, or they have player options. I'm sorry.
They have their options.
Yeah, so they could opt out. So you could very well not have Doc next year. Well, we already know you're not going to have Doc next year, but you could lose your two superstars after next year and have lost all of these draft picks and everything with nothing to show for it, and more importantly, no rings. No, I wouldn't have got rid of Doc. And as to whether or not Kawhi deserves blame, of course he does. He's a superstar. He should have stepped up. He should have said something. I know he's a guy that leads by example, but this team needed some type of leadership, and they didn't have it. You need somebody vocally that's going to pull guys by the collar and get them right. There's no reason for them to blow a 3-1 lead. None.
But isn't that the coach's
even
job?
by I don't even know if it's the fact that they blew a 3-1 lead. I think what makes it worse is how they blew it. They had leads in these games that they had 3-1 leads. So man, Kawhi deserves the boatload of the blame for that. He's not going to get it because he's quiet, but he deserves most of the blame.
Well, and a lot of it also was the Dallas series where they blew 20-point leads in that series multiple times, and one they had to win. And we're talking about without 3-6 Latvia. So, when you're having trouble with Dallas, that shows that this team wasn't focused. And I think that's where Paul George lost the respect of the locker room because Lou Will was out there balling. Like when I think he was close to averaging 30 a game. So it was Kawhi and Lou Will. And So that was part of the issue. I think the other part of the issue was handling the personalities. So a couple of questions I have is, whose decision was it to bring Reggie Jackson in? Whose decision was it to bring Noah in? Whose decision was it to bring Morris in? Whose decision was it to bring all these guys in to try to build this super elite team of guys that can play, or superstar role players or star role players, to try to get a leg up over the Lakers? Because you have all this talent that you ultimately couldn't play. Reggie Jackson was terrible and never got in, once they saw what he did against Dallas. Noah was over there just waiting for a blowout so he could step on the court. So I think it was look, he blew a 3-1 lead. It was a deserved firing. I think that once Miami took care of business, once the Lakers took care of business, it was a wrap for Doc.
Hey, Ken, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think Doc was fired yesterday as opposed to a week and a half ago when they lost? Doesn't the timing seem kind of funny to you?
Yeah, it happened right after the Lakers went to the final.
Okay.
Yep, right after the Lakers went to the final when they won Game 5. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
They didn't go to Game 7, and they go home.
Isn't it a different, it's a different feeling around that building if we just lost to the champs who just came back on the Lakers, if it happened in the world.
Facts.
Right? I think that softens the blow. Well, these dudes were just dogs, and they were not going to lose to anybody.
Absolutely.
But it's different when the Lakers treat these dudes like they're nothing pre-K. You know what I mean? Like, man, get out here.
Yeah,
I'm not ready for
But
this.
but I will say this though. I think the Doc had the hardest job in the NBA.
What?
Yeah,
Let him explain. Let him explain.
For the same reason that Ken said, you're bringing all these personalities in to join with a group full of already personalities in there. Your star is quiet, so you really got to dig. You probably need a psychologist in the room just to understand, to communicate with him somewhat. So in saying that, you got all these personalities that you got to mix up. You got people coming in and out of the bubble. They never had a constant roster all year. So in saying that, you got to make that work. People think, well, they had a lot of great talent on that team, but when did they have it all? They didn't get it all until the end, and
the end is what mattered the most, Shelton.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We're going back to the excuses that they've been thrown out for this team all season long.
But Shelton's point is that Doc had the hardest job, and he's pointing out all those reasons. In addition to that I will add to Shelton's point is the fact that both Kawhi and PG came off of surgeries the previous offseason.
Hold on, FreeFlow. Let me say the same point that Ken said. They were up by multiple digits 100%. In all these games, and they had to win one game. Let's not. I don't give a damn about all that shit. That shit is bullshit.
And what do we say when they lost? Right? Like, at least from my perspective, I didn't put Doc as the most blame, because at the end of the day, the players got to play, and the players got to close that shit out, bro. How much motivation? Hold on, you
game management. Game management is a coach's job.
But they didn't lose games because of game management, though.
How did they not?
They managed to get up 20. Yeah. And they blew it.
playing
players play
38 minutes, bro, when he ain't got it.
But this is what I'm saying, though. You're PG.
And I ain't talking about just game 7. I'm talking about 5 and 6. You know
what I mean? No,
but you're PG, though.
No, you play PG.
I'm saying game 7 makes sense. But
we traded 5 first-round picks for you.
What does bank account say? Oh, yeah, you playing that man.
We traded 5 first-round picks.
Right.
We traded 5 first-round picks for you, and you give us 5 points.
He's playing.
Yeah.
Play.
Look, to Shelton's point, Shelton, I won't necessarily disagree with your point, but what I will say to your point is that just proves he's not the right man for the job. So now you just got to get out of here, because you can't do the things that are required to manage this team and win a championship.
Well, they better not miss with this new.
Can I?
That's the.
Kyle, before you go, and this is what I really want to ask you, because what do you think about the fact that guys are looking at people like PG and saying, man, you get to game manage and load manage, and you get to take practices all, and I'm out here dropping 36 against the Lakers on Christmas in Lou Will, and you just get to show up late in your Ferrari and with, McDonald's and whatnot, and you just sit on the side with Kawhi and talking like you just came off a finals MVP with Toronto. Do you think that affects a locker room? It has to me.
It definitely does. It definitely does, because, Paul George assumed the role of Robin when he really wasn't, and he was being paid like that. And it's going to rub some guys the wrong way, especially if you're not, the one thing we always talk about in sports is the best of ability is accountability. And they couldn't count on Paul George. And, I'm not going to say he misused the idea of his mental health and being depressed and stuff like that, but there was no coincidence that he had one really terrible game and he was like, oh, I'm depressed and all of that stuff like that. And again, I don't want to make it sound like I'm being heartless, but to your point, Q, it doesn't look good, and it automatically creates a rift in the locker room because the guys will understand that Kawhi should get the superstar treatment. But when you're Paul George and you're not carrying your weight or you're not doing what it is that you're supposed to be doing, and you got guys like Lou Will and Montrez dropping, 20, 30 a night, and this is what they brought you here to do, you're not going to get the superstar treatment like Kawhi. You're not Kawhi.
Well, after that game 7, I hope he's back in therapy. I'll say that. The other part about, is it fair to Kawhi, to blame Kawhi? Absolutely. FIFA already said that. I'm not going to go in on that anymore. But shout out to Tracy G, who said Kawhi is hella overrated. And Ken was right last week. He did a super chat.
He's not overrated.
That Kawhi got lucky with that chip from Toronto. He's the leprechaun champ.
He's not overrated.
He's the leprechaun champ. Let's just acknowledge that.
Come on, Trace.
Man.
So you saying he's not overrated? So is he rated correctly?
I think he is a superstar in the NBA.
People were saying top 2.
I think he's
some were saying number 1.
I say he's a top 3 player in the league.
Shit.
Max Kellerman said he's more clutch than Kobe was.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's Max
That's
Kellerman.
crazy.
I know, but that's where we were getting to the gravity of the conversation.
That's what I'm saying. He what people say about you is what they say. You know what I'm saying? They gonna say you shit. They gonna say you great too. Like, you know what I mean? Like it ain't. That's nothing that he said. I go off.
But narratives do drive our conversations.
Can we agree that he's in the top 5?
Yeah,
He's in the top 5.
Kenneth?
100.
So then how is he like? That's what I'm saying. So then how is he overrated?
I think
Because he's not top 2.
Yeah.
He's top 3. You can't name 3 players better than Kawhi Leonard.
I mean,
when healthy.
I think it's arguable.
Anthony Davis.
He opened it up.
Kevin Durant is better.
Anthony Davis ain't never done nothing by himself.
But here's the thing. What do I always talk
Kawhi.
about the playoffs? Ken, what do I always say? What's the playoffs about individually?
Superstar.
Oh, shit, I can't remember.
Moments.
Yeah.
It's always about moments. And this moment is a stain on Kawhi's career. This is ugly, bad. It smells, and there's no way to clean that shit up. You got to call the hazmat motherfuckers.
Every superstar got a stain on their career.
I understand
In
that,
the playoffs.
but this is the most recent.
Yeah.
And he's also been heralded as a top 2 player.
Yep.
This knocks him down.
So okay, but I mean,
So
shit.
I think it's fair to say, can we really name 3 or 4 other players better than Kawhi today?
If we
It's fair.
drag Giannis for getting MVP, we have to be able to call into question. I'm not saying that Kawhi Leonard is not great at basketball.
No, I'm not saying.
I'm saying that y'all got to put some respect on Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry, because what they were able to do to take Boston to that many games by themselves with no help from Siakam, that has to be accounted for. That Kawhi was riding a lot of that.
Okay, but where did they end up? They ended up knocked out in the second round, right? Like Toronto usually does, right? Historically, right? I'm just saying that's historically they get knocked out.
Siakam gave them no contributions. They took.
What's the fact of it though? They got knocked out in the second round without Kawhi.
I mean, facts need context though.
But would they have beaten? Would they have won that? Would they have won that game with Kawhi? Would they have won that series with Kawhi?
I honestly think they would have.
Would they have won that series with Siakam giving them 15 points a game? Yes, they probably would have.
With Kawhi Leonard, you could.
Without Kawhi Leonard, they took them to 7 games and were down, and they were down. They were up in the third quarter.
Right.
You can't tell me that Nick Nurse is not arguably a top 3 coach. He's arguably a top 3 coach.
So maybe they
He's
would have
top
won the
5.
series.
He's top 5.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, we got to start the question.
Speaking of the East and Boston,
He's overrated.
it's a 2-part question. The good son that Ken want to get to. We're gonna get to that. But before we get to that, what should Boston do next season to get back to the Eastern Conference Finals?
Fire Brad Stevens.
Get out of here.
Trade Kemba.
They got
Kemba got to go, bro. Okay, look, let me start this off. First, I want to
take emotion out of it, Nick.
I'm trying to.
Take emotion out of it.
That's why I'm letting them start. Go ahead, Ken.
All I want to say is I think we need to apologize to Kyrie Irving. I will apologize for myself.
I won't.
For what happened with Kyrie.
What?
He took a lot of he was the blame for everything that happened last year and somewhat the year before.
Yep.
They said that this team was better without Kawhi. But without Kyrie, and that he was a problem in the locker room. These Negroes got to the same damn spot, and they've gone home, and it looked terrible.
No, they didn't. They didn't even make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
But they went to the Eastern Conference Finals the year before. So they haven't gotten past that without Kawhi, and they didn't get past it with Kawhi.
LeBron had Jordan Clarkson.
Man, listen.
Kyrie, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro. And when Kimba was on the team and they were winning games and all this other stuff, they were like, see, it was Kyrie. Where they at now? I'm sorry, Kyrie. I apologize.
I'm not sorry. I think that Kimba had a rough series. I think that he'll come back fighting next year. I believe in Kimba. I really do.
You did.
And y'all know that because I've been sticking with him for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's gonna come back and have a good series have a good season next year. But we'll see.
Season, but playoffs. What is he gonna do in the playoffs?
The playoffs was ding.
Yeah. Well, that was his.
He was the third best player on the team.
I don't think they should trade Kimba just yet. But I have lost a lot of respect for Kimba after this playoff series.
I did.
But like Shelton, I'm a big Kimba fan because I saw him in the Big East when he was at UConn, did his thing.
In the NBA now.
I get you, but I'm saying I've been a fan of his for a while. I'm just explaining his backstory.
I
You know
understand,
what I'm saying?
in the NBA now.
And
Context,
the context is Kemba Walker has never been this far in the
Right.
playoffs ever.
Correct.
This is the first time, even though he's a veteran in the league, this is the first time he's ever even sniffed the second round, nor Eastern Conference Finals or any conference finals. So
Correct.
while I did expect him to average at least 20 throughout these playoffs, and he didn't, there is a part of me that's like, he's never been here before. And sometimes
Excuses.
what are we talking about? You said you got to get beat up a lot in the playoffs early on.
Kemba Walker's almost 30 years old.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay.
You're beyond that point. Because look, when Derrick Rose was an MVP by his third year, he made it to the Eastern Conference Finals and he ran into the juggernaut, but he still balled the hell out. He balled the hell
He
out.
was the best player on that team. Kemba's not.
But
Kemba's just a piece, right?
but coming into it,
He was still not the best player coming into it.
either
You already
way,
knew that. That's what I'm saying. So like, why?
either way, he is an all-star level at minimum
Yes.
guard in the NBA.
Who had a bad
His
playoffs?
but that's inexcusable at the age he's at. Regardless if this is the first time he's gone this far, whatever the hell, you should be wanting to salivate over this moment because this is the only thing that should be driving you as a basketball player, especially when you're one of those guys that hasn't made it this damn far. I'm gonna come
Correct.
here and I'm gonna show everybody what the hell I'm about. And what
FIFO,
happened?
that-
Come on, man. Nah.
FIFO,
He had
FIFO.
how many years he been in the league now?
It's
6
been
and
like
7.
8 years
He
now.
had 8 years to think about getting this damn far and what he do when he get here. Come on, man. He got performance anxiety.
He's just Kyle Lowry. He's just Kyle Lowry with a brand name.
And you're right, but you got to take it into
He's
consideration.
Kroger's private selection.
Like you said, as far as he's been this far, that'll cause you to tighten up. If you've never gotten this far this long, it
Okay,
will
then
make
it's
you
Brad
tighten up.
Stevens'
for
fault
some.
for not making him
No.
looser.
That's what I was gonna
deserves
say.
a fault.
You blame it on the good son.
Yeah, I don't think Boston has to do much. Honestly, I think Kemba's going to have to play better, but I think the core of that team is still young. Jason Tatum is a dog. I think this team, you just got to run it back. You got to run it back. We don't know how they would have fared had there not been a bubble, and I'm not making excuses for what they did in the bubble, but it says a lot to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, Hayward went down. Now, if there's one piece that you might want to move, it's Hayward. I don't know what you're going to get for him because of that large contract that he has.
He's on the worst contract.
And
in the
because he's
NBA.
white.
Well, somebody gonna take him because of that, Ken. Come on now. But I think ultimately you run it back with that team, man. They've got some good pieces. I'll probably try to find some more perimeter defenders. Somebody who again that doesn't need the ball per se. But Boston is they're solidified. I think they'll be back in the mix. They could be right back in the Eastern Conference Finals again next year. Stevens is gonna have to be a better coach next year. That's the bottom line.
Let me read this. 'Cause I agree, Carl. And I think that Kemba Walker in this year's playoffs, 19 points per game, 5 assists per game, 31% three-point shooting, 44% field goal percentage. Kyrie Irving, the year that he was basically called KD and said, yeah, what you doing after this? That same playoffs, 21 points per game, 7 assists per game, 31% 3-point shooting, 39% field goal.
He wasn't even trying.
And he was not trying. I think that we have to really look at Kemba, bro. Like, is he too small literally to play on this team?
Well, I'm not gonna go there.
I'm ready to go there because he can't guard anybody bigger than him.
Well, I mean,
Jimmy
again,
Butler was getting every dribble he
Post
wanted to the
ups.
basket.
he gonna do that against most smaller guards.
And what is the playoffs about? Matchups.
he would do that against Kyrie too.
Bro, you mean to tell me that if Ben Simmons gets a coach, they're not gonna put, hey, Ben, back Kemba down to the
But
post.
that's the obvious mismatch.
Name any Eastern team. Giannis, back Kemba down to the post. We're gonna get this switch. A coach should be trying to get that. Any coach is going to hunt Kemba Walker. The
Yeah.
same way as the Sixers fan here, they hunted JJ Redick in our lineups. They are going to hunt. And if you get to a finals by a miracle, LeBron, we're gonna get you on Kemba.
But the issue,
And all you're gonna see is Kemba Walker smiling.
Yeah,
and this,
he's a
That's
great
all
guy.
he did. He smiled the whole damn series.
this is the last point before we move on. But the issue to me was it wasn't Kemba Walker on defense; it was on offense. Like you mentioned, those numbers, like those 3% point percentage, the field goal percentage, the points average. Like I said, at least 20. He only got 19. Like, you know what I mean? Like those are things that I look at as far as, bro, like offensively, you got to bring it back if you can't do shit on the other side. You know what I mean? Especially if you're supposed to be Kyrie light without that. You know what I'm saying? Just Kyrie without the two.
Yeah, but man, if all I gotta say, this is the last thing I'll say, and if they are trying to get Fred VanVleet to switch on to you, something's a problem. It's an issue.
And the bench was absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
They had no bench. That's Danny Ainge. But from what I heard, Brad Stevens is a good coach who can get stuff out of his bench.
He's got to the Eastern Conference Finals, 3 times the last 5 years?
Yeah,
But they I don't
That's
know.
not a bad coach. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of bad coaches. That's not a bad coach. I ain't gonna say he's great, but he ain't bad.
man, we killed Budenholzer for the same thing,
Bro, Dwayne Casey went there and got smashed. Like at some point, he got to get some blame, and he's getting
Oh, he's
none.
definitely deserving of
You
blame.
know,
No, he getting blamed.
He
I'm
getting
just saying-
blamed this
I'm just
year?
saying he don't need to be fired, like
I'm
you
just-
said.
but when they put you on the level of Pop and some of the greats, when you ain't done shit, ain't that what you always talking
He's
about?
de-
He ain't
but-
done
but
shit.
he's developed Tatum, Brown, and he's helped Smart elevate his game as well. So it's not like he hasn't done shit. Like we're literally seeing a superstar rise in front of our eyes who was drafted by this squad. Two and another all-star in Brown. So it's like I'm not gonna say he ain't shit.
They
But
also had talent.
he is on the clock. He's on the clock.
Oh,
He
definitely.
ain't going nowhere.
But like I started off, man, we got the finals set up with Miami and Los Angeles
Yeah.
Lakers. Question I got for y'all is, man, can Miami run make a run like 04 Pistons? I'm gonna say I'm giving it to you. You the hometown favorite, right? That's your squad.
Man,
Denver
you
and
know,
7, right?
Hey,
He was in Miami in 6.
that was an emotional pick, and I was just going against the grain. I was going against the grain on that. It is what it is. I was not using my analytical brain on that pick. It was what it was. But on this though, I think Miami can definitely give the Lakers a run for the money. Like I texted in our group chat, I really want to see that Bam AD matchup, bro.
Yeah.
I
Easy
really
430,
wanna
ladies and
see-
gentlemen.
What do you mean? Why?
It's not gonna be
Man.
like, bro. It ain't gonna be what you think, bro. It ain't gonna be what you
You
think.
tripping,
Bam
bro.
is gonna fight.
AD is
Bro,
gonna
Bam will
wash
fight.
Bam, bro.
No,
I don't know
he's
about
not.
wash.
AD's gonna wash Bam.
I don't think so.
Who is AD washed in these playoffs?
Bro, he hit a step back 3 on
Miles
Jokic.
Plumlee.
Jokic got a little piece of that too.
Yeah, in his face.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like
He
So
didn't
you,
get
think,
it.
so you think he gonna ball out on him every game?
I think he's gonna AD is gonna showcase. He gonna show his ass off.
Who's
And
better,
I
Bam or
think-
Jokic?
Jokic.
Defensively?
What defensively?
Bam.
Overall,
He's on-
Bam, because Bam could do more.
You want
But
Bam?
offensively, Jokic.
Defensively though, Bam is.
Oh, yeah,
is-
100%.
I say overall
Yeah.
Jokic.
I want Bam
Yeah,
on my
I think-
team
I
more
think-
than Jokic.
I think that's what
but-
he
He said overall Bam.
Yeah,
Like,
Jokic is a better
But I
offensive
take
player
Jokic.
by far.
You said what?
Jokic is a better offensive player by far. That's not a really comparison. What Bam is going to give AD problems is defensively,
Mm.
and he's going to make him have to be active
Yeah.
when he's back on D. So
Yeah.
Bam, he gonna have some problems with Bam.
Yeah,
Ain't gonna be
because
easy.
Bam got like a dog, a defensive. He
Mhm.
got like a
I'm
dog
not, I'm
in him.
not saying Bam is gonna be.
And we've seen AD back down from dudes that got dogs in them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Right.
Like defensively.
AD
Yeah,
soft.
he don't like
Spoelstra,
that.
Spoelstra, top 3 coach.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just
I
don't.
I think where they're
mean,
gonna run into problems is that when AD goes to the bench, and then you bring in a guy like Howard. If Howard plays like he did last series, I don't know that Miami necessarily has, that front line or that type of matchup to match up with Howard, particularly if Bam gets in foul trouble. But Bam and AD going head to head, I'm like FIFA. I want to see that because I don't think
that's why I
gonna-
think
Same.
I don't think that's going to be as easy as people think it will.
No,
Who's
Right.
playing center for Miami?
Damn.
AD's not playing the center then.
they'll match them up. Hey,
They'll ma- yeah,
hey,
they'll
they're gonna
match
match that up, bro.
They're gonna match
They're
that
not
up.
gonna- because there's no other big that Miami has that can match up with AD. like
No.
that.
Jimmy
So
has
he
to take
has
the
to
run.
play it.
Dwight Howard?
No, he's
No,
in Miami.
Miami.
Oh,
Yeah.
Miami don't have nobody.
He's got
else like
Olynyk. That's it.
Yeah.
that. Olynyk.
Yeah, Kelly Olynyk. Yeah.
And for your point, Kyle, I think that when Dwight comes in, you got to play Olynyk. Get
Yeah.
Dwight away from that basket.
mhm,
Basket,
gotta
right,
foul him out.
right.
yeah.
I just think that Bam's gonna get in foul trouble, just like how Joker
I hope
got in
I hope the
foul
refs
trouble.
let
I
him
think
play.
so. I think they'll let him play a little bit. It is the finals, but Bam does an amazing job of playing defense really without fouling. He's not in foul trouble a lot. He's a big man. It's gonna be
But who has
games.
he had
All
to
right, man,
face?
hold on,
Who has he had
hold
to face like AD? And
Yeah,
sits up to that
that's where I was gonna go, Nick.
Come
Let's
on,
really
man.
evaluate the competition.
Exactly.
Bam has faced. Boston didn't have a bitch. He had Thice.
Mhm.
Thesis.
Like, come on, bro. Like Thice can't guard him. And then he went
Giannis?
up against a rookie, Grant Williams, and all
Giannis?
kind of other people.
I mean, Giannis though.
Yeah, yeah.
That was Giannis, but he was
That
but
was
mostly
MVP. That
Block
was
Jason
MVP,
Tatum at the
Ken.
rim.
Come on now. Come on,
Giannis?
Ken.
Giannis went down in the post
keep in
like
mind,
that.
Ken, Bam is an all-star.
Neither is
he
AD.
won't be in the
AD
post
ain't
like
gonna
that.
be down in the
Right.
post like that.
But he didn't match up against Giannis that much, did he?
No, but it was
Yeah.
more so like when
on
Giannis
switches.
does that big ass like, you know what I mean? That like, you know what I'm saying? Bam is right there.
Bam is right
Like he
there, yeah.
right there
yeah, but
waiting
that's a
for
part
it.
of the wall that they created, right? It was him and a couple other
Yeah,
people
for
that had
sure.
to do that because
For sure.
obviously he's long enough to get over
That's supposed to-
anybody.
Right, but
supposed
who has Bam been matched up against in the playoffs up to this point?
And
Splash
this, is,
Mountain.
and, this, and this is why this is so intriguing because we
I
see
think
what
so, too.
Bam is. Bam is a super athletic big that has increased his jump shot range because he has legit 15-foot
Yeah,
range.
they got
now.
that little
Yeah.
push shot too.
You got the little push shot. He is great around the rim. And not because he has touch, because he's tenacious around the rim. And also, as a face-up big, he's super quick with that first step.
Yes.
And he
He
has big man, amazing handles. He doesn't have handles for a
Mhm.
guard, but he got. And you know when I was watching him,
I see him bringing the ball
you,
up.
you know the player. And y'all might think I'm crazy. You know I'll be throwing shit out there. I felt he's Al Horford 2.0
That's
Mm.
not a bad
because when
comparison.
Al
Yeah.
Horford came into the league,
That's not bad.
he really couldn't shoot like that. He really couldn't shoot like that. But by year 2, year 3, he had a 15-foot jumper. Eventually, he extended out to 3-point range.
Mhm.
Eventually, he started handling the ball a little bit more. Great pick and roll defender and offensive player as the picker. He reads so much, and he has a high level of IQ, and he finishes tenacious around the basket because of those intangibles. It doesn't matter who he plays. That's who Bam is.
I think it
Now
matters
you're
who
going
he
against AD, and we know AD is one of the elite bigs. I want to see this guy with all this energy and all this athletic ability go against this guy that's so heralded because of his skillfulness and his finesse.
I'm
I
not
want to see
going.
that.
I'm not going as far as
Fact.
Nick in terms of in saying he's going to get washed. But who did Miami play in the first round? Indiana, right?
Yeah.
Got them out of there.
Yeah,
So
Yes.
Miles Turner,
DeMontis.
I mean,
he wasn't even there.
But that's an all-star though.
he was out.
but he wasn't there. He didn't play.
He
It
was
was, it
out.
was Miles Turner and then
You're right.
somebody.
You're right.
Who he played in the second round?
Giannis.
Giannis.
Brook
And he
Lopez.
wasn't really Brooke Lopez. Who we playing in the third round? Thice.
But let's
He
not.
blocked
But let's
Tatum.
not. Just because we just
Like, come
because
on, y'all.
just because we expect Giannis to choke doesn't mean that it's still not like, yo, that's the MVP and defense player of the year.
Hold on, man. You can't.
You was
kill
just
Gian-
heralding that.
No,
Don't do that.
No, I'm saying you can't kill Giannis and then try to say he's the MVP.
No,
like,
no.
nah,
I'm
bro.
killing him because he is the MVP.
Nah,
and
bro.
Bam took that
Bam took
from
it,
him and said,
yeah.
yo, we're
So
moving on.
Bam
in
was
five.
guarding Giannis throughout. in the
No,
game.
but bro,
No, he
it's
wasn't.
like, bro, when Giannis is going downhill, that's where he's most dangerous. So if you're
Facts.
looking at a guy who is taking and intercepting a guy when he's at his most dangerous and neutralizing him, to me,
Who's-
All right,
Who's
Bam.
more- who's
We've
more
been on
offensive?
this long enough. What's
Well,
what's
I want to
next?
get B styles. You think Miami can make a run like the Pistons did in 04 in the finals?
It's possible. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if they win, yes.
Jimmy got to stop
if-
letting Harold save him.
Yeah, if they win, if Miami win this, it's gonna be like the Pistons in 04 again. But I don't think.
Get your heart out of the way.
You know, I don't think they're gonna do it. I mean, I still think Lakers is gonna win this series overall. But yeah, if like I said, if Miami can do that, that will be some Piston-ish type stuff.
So
Because going into the series, we giving Miami no chance. That's how they did the Pistons. They didn't get the
Yeah.
Pistons no chance in 04. And it's like, if Miami can shock the world, this would be kind of similar to that.
I got those vibes, Nick.
If Miami can shock the world.
Yeah, but as I went through the
Mhm.
roster of teams,
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, bro, it get real Shabba ranks after
Yeah.
the first four.
you know, it's just like, okay, maybe not.
Because
Because
they
some of
only
those
went, they
teams
only
were
went 7.
flawed,
I think they only went like 7 rotation against Boston this past
Mhm.
elimination game. They literally
which makes Brad Stevens look even worse because that Miami didn't have a bench and neither did Boston. They
Because
still
why
got-
Dunn didn't play? Dunn didn't play. Kelly
He didn't, did he?
play. Like
It's about matchups.
Yeah, they'll match up.
Well, so like who we like.
Yeah, that's
All
true.
right.
You know?
Well, since we're here now, who wins the series and what's the series score? And another part is if LBJ wins his 4th title, will he be known as the GOAT?
Oh, we gonna do that.
We can say that one for later, but who wins?
What do y'all think?
I think the Lakers win in 6. Don't be surprised if this is a very highly contested series. I wouldn't be surprised if we went 7. But I think Miami is going to give LA all that they can handle. I think these are going to be really entertaining and close games all the way through. But I like the Lakers in 6. If it goes 7, I'm not betting against LeBron. I don't trust anybody else on the Lakers, but I trust LeBron.
They say none is hurt.
Okay.
Yeah, I just saw that. I think it's going to be the Lakers in 5. I hope I'm wrong. This is one where I want to be so wrong. I want it to be close. I want it to be a good series no matter what. But I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like it's set up for them to win it.
Lakers in 7.
So you see it
I
going.
think that
so-
I think that Eric Spoelstra is going to make it a dogfight. I believe that
Tell
it's
him,
about
Q.
matchups, and Jimmy has to ball out. This is all contingent on Jimmy. He can't continue to rely on Tyler Hero to save him.
Yeah, because I feel like this past series, Jimmy didn't really like
he hasn't been
this
asserting
this
himself.
Boston the Milwaukee series he bought out, but this Boston series, I feel like he didn't really.
Take a step back.
Yeah, he
I
didn't
think that he
ball
really just
out.
said, "Yo, Harold got it. These
Right.
shooters, they can't stop them."
Yeah.
but that's going.
He can't do that. Yeah, he can't.
Vogel's gonna key in on those
This the
two
finals,
guys,
man. You gotta go all out.
And you know he's gonna be guarding Bron too, so it's gonna be a matter
lot
of
of energy.
who fatigues
Maybe that's why he did take a backseat. He's like, I gotta save my energy for Bron. Maybe, I mean, I'm not to say he thinking that headed for like we gonna get past Boston like that. But when the writing's on the wall, it's like, bruh, I gotta face Bron 4 out of 7
Nick.
times to win this shit.
Don't fall for that shit.
Nah, I think that might be
Don't
something.
fall.
That might be something.
Can't say
just
no
had-
fall for
No,
that.
that might be something. Guys
Jimmy
do
just
that.
had a terrible series.
That's what it probably
All right.
is. Yeah.
I got the Lakers in 6. I'm putting a lot of respect on Spoelstra's name. I think the Lakers are deeper. I think they are better. I think their star players are a lot better than Miami star players. It's like a mini me version of what the Lakers have with LeBron and AD. That's what Jimmy and Bam are. But I don't know, man. I love Jimmy, but Jimmy is that type of all-star / superstar that he controls a lot of games without having to score.
Mhm.
But I think in this series, you need a guy that can get some buckets.
Mhm.
And even though as much as I love Tyler Hero, I can't rely on him to give me the buckets every game in a 7-game series against a team like the Lakers. Duncan Robinson either. And Jimmy is also sporadic when he gives me the buckets. So because of that, I just think that LeBron, we see the numbers. LeBron damn near going to give you a triple-double, 30-point triple-double.
He
And we
will.
know that if the game gets tight or he has to have one of them 50-point, 60, he going to do that. He, like this, and still in year 17. So I'm not going against that against this team. So I got the Lakers in 6.
Same here. I got the Lakers in 6. Just give LeBron the ring. I don't really have anything else to say. That's really
I
much
love
it.
that energy though, because that could give us a series that we weren't expecting.
Right.
Just give him the ring because, man, I'm not gonna pose it, but this does something for Miami as an organization and Jimmy as a player if he can win this.
If he can win this, he's a superstar.
Like,
in my opinion.
I'm
You already know I've been trying to get this motherfucker. I've been trying to push this narrative for a long time. He's a
You
superstar.
can't be a super. He actually
because
he almost that star like it was at star. the way he played against Miami. He was that bad against Miami. I mean, against
I'm
Boston.
saying he the super right now, right? You call him when you need him, right? But he gonna be a star if he win this finals. That's all I'm saying. Because like Q said, bro, he has to ball out. When we talk about Jimmy buckets, he has to ball out throughout, but he also has to guard LeBron. So he got to be a rich man's Iguodala as far as that 2015.
For the record, he can't guard LeBron. We've seen the story.
Oh, he can guard. He can't slow him. I mean, he's not gonna stop.
They
him.
tried this when Derrick Rose was the MVP. It was a bunch of hype.
No, I'm saying like he's the best defender, perimeter defender. They
Nah,
got.
Iggy is.
No, Iggy is. Iggy know how to play.
Iggy old, bro.
Iggy
Iggy
know how to
old.
play him.
Okay.
He got a bad back.
But he's smart though.
But you know what I'm saying? The
Yep.
IQ. Yeah.
Yeah.
All you need
he
is
gonna know-
about 3 games.
That's what I'm saying.
3 good games.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
all you
Bro,
need.
every time he get on the floor, he look like Larry Bird to me. Like he ain't about to get back to
Shit. What was that game? I want to say it was the closeout game. Didn't he shoot like 4 for 4, 5 for 5 for 3 or something like that?
Yeah.
Bro, look,
Hey.
when you are, he's the epitome of a championship role player. But you're not gonna get 7 games. Sorry, he does not.
Right.
But them 3 games, whether it's offense, defense, playmaking, you're gonna get something exceptional that your team needed that night, and that's what Iggy does, bro.
He
So don't
knows
count him
how to
out.
guard LeBron. He knows.
I
How
don't
to
know,
I'm not
man.
counting him out. I'm
He
just saying
look like
people
that.
we need Iggy to win the series.
Who
It's
you
right.
got? Who you got?
Did you pick your pick?
I'm gonna let you make your pick first.
Ken don't like where this is going. We all pick
I
the
don't.
Lakers.
I don't at
Where you
all.
going? Where you going? Who you going with, Ken?
He gonna
Man,
pick the
this shit
Lakers.
worries me, man. I'm nervous. Because there's something about Miami, and they have what the Clippers pretended to have.
Quit sitting on the Clippers. Just say your pick, man.
Absolutely
Damn.
We're talking about fight, toughness. This is how LeBron learned to be a champion. Under Dwayne Wade's
Tutelage.
Yeah.
Under
So
Dwayne
Pat,
Wade.
Spo, Jimmy Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson
And they-
shooting
they
from
play-
half.
and they
You
play
over
with
here
house money.
gassing them up, bro.
They playing with house
Bam,
money
Bam.
too.
Yeah, house money. Jimmy already said, "Hey man, if you want to win a title, you got to go through a LeBron James led team." They already know what's up,
Mhm.
but it's gonna go down at 5 for the Lakers. It's gonna go down at 5.
He said
It's
all
gonna go
that
down
shit.
to
That's
five.
why we talking
So
to.
listen,
that- all that
that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say 5-5-5-5. I think Lakers gonna like they've been doing all playoffs, finishing up in 5. I may go 6 just of the respect of Spo. I'm kind of with FIFA. Like I might just go 6. Just I gotta put some respect on Spo's
I think
name.
Jimmy can get you 2. That's all.
Yeah,
No, he
yeah,
can't.
The
yeah.
Lakers are vulnerable with their guard play.
They are.
And if Harrell and
What do you
Robinson
mean?
can just get one game where they go nuts, and,
And they
then
might.
Jimmy get one game,
Well,
Perimeter
because-
defense is
Yeah.
where they're weakest.
And Miami's going in as the best
KCP
3-point
can't
shooting
check.
team.
Can't check Hero.
You said who?
KCP.
Hell,
No.
hell no.
No.
You
What
said-
about Caruso?
If you think that, you
Yeah.
smoking PCP.
But as I watched the Boston games, I saw Dragic just walking into the paint.
yeah, man.
That's not
Yeah.
going to be there with the Lakers. Like a lot of easy
Is it
shots.
though?
Not with them
Kentavious
towers in
County
there, bro.
Pope? I don't know about that.
But I'm talking about Howard, McGee, AD.
I may
Yeah,
be
at the
around
rim.
though.
At the rim is gonna
and-
be a little different.
And that's exactly,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
That's where
that's what
Dragic got a lot of
But
shots.
Murray got to the paint too, though.
he did.
Most of his floaters and shit
Yeah,
was
but
like
he's-
in the mid range kitty free throw
And,
area.
and, and
Ken,
here's
like
the thing
Dragic
about
Murray.
Dragic. Dragic is a true playmaker.
Yeah,
He's
he
not
is.
really a scorer like that. He can score, but he at heart he wants to play make. So if he can get to the bucket, it doesn't matter about
Kick
shot
out or
blocking because
something
he
like-
can
yeah.
drop them things off.
Duncan
Here comes
Robinson, I
Bam.
think, is going to be the key, bro.
You said who?
Duncan.
Robinson.
This last thing I say, I got to dip now, but I think that the Miami Heat, the only prayer that they have is that Eric Spoelstra can grind the games down to with it being within 6 points.
Hmm.
You got to be able to be within 3 minutes, and you got to have a 6-point deficit, or you got to be up by 4.
And that's what I was talking about with Denver. What they weren't able to do is like when they got to what can you do when you get to grind?
And can you
Spo-
execute?
And can you execute after that?
And will AD get tight? Because we've seen in the past, everyone wants to talk
In the
about
regular season, though.
Man, but the thing is,
Okay.
everybody wants to talk about it. But in the playoffs, though,
Playoffs.
AD has had games where he gets out of the rhythm and he's like, oh, okay, well, let
This
me
is
pass
first
to
time in the
LeBron.
finals too.
And Spo is going to make sure. Tell Bam, he gonna be like, Bam, get him at the top of the key. Do not allow him to work down low.
Mhm.
You have to stop him on the elbows, stop him.
Just
near
get him
the 3-point line.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
Get him uncomfortable, make him want to shoot the ball. We want him to fall in love with a mid-range. And if you can make AD fall in love with a mid-range, if he makes 1 or 2, AD staying out there for the rest of the game.
He sure
He don't get no rebounds.
And I was gonna say he don't get no
rebounds.
boards,
That was a
which
fluke.
helps.
That was a fluke. Y'all know he.
What you mean?
averaged-
It
we'll
happened
see.
like 3
Yeah.
times in the series.
I'll say I know, but come on, man. We know he averages way more than that. So that's why I say it was a fluke. It's just the way it went. I will say this, Q, to your point as you walk out against Boston. Boston won damn near all the quarters except the last one. That was and once the game got tight, that's when the game flipped. So all Miami did was win the fourth quarter.
Yep.
The first 3 quarters and halves, Boston was killing them, but they couldn't close.
We got a
but
super chat from.
I don't
We
know.
got a super chat from.
Okay, hold on a second. I wonder if, like, when you look at, okay, so could Miami have beaten Denver? Could Miami have beaten the Rockets? Could Miami have beaten, these other teams? So I'm looking at the quality of competition.
I mean, I get that.
But the Lakers
But
have
we're
had
here now.
also,
You know what
the
I mean?
Lakers have also, but in terms of analyzing this game, we have to take that into consideration because it's something that we took into consideration when the Warriors won and LeBron had that cakewalk to the
Yeah,
to the
but
final.
but to your point, well, what my point is, like, what is your series score again?
5.
That's it.
Yeah, it's fine.
So
It's fine.
that don't matter after that. Lakers gonna win. Like everything we saying, nice soliloquies.
Damn,
Lakers
man.
gonna win.
It feels like 04 all over again. Everybody thought the same thing.
They
and
sure
then
did, man.
The only difference is I don't think the Lakers are as cocky as that Laker team was back then. They had no respect for the Pistons.
Yeah, because
did.
most of the Lakers they haven't won a title. Period. Like outside of Rondo, LeBron, and Danny Green, is that it? Yeah, on the bench. Like
Yeah.
he was on the
And then
roster.
also,
Yeah.
I don't think that this Miami Heat squad is as deep as that Pistons squad was either. Or like they have dogs, but they're not.
They don't have
they're not-
specialists.
Yeah, like they're not as tenacious or as lanky.
I mean, yeah.
Because like you have Rasheed Wallace as specialist.
Yep.
You have Ben
Tayshaun
Wallace,
Prince.
Tayshaun Prince.
Tayshaun
Just
Prince.
between those 3
Rip
guys,
Hamilton.
you don't have that type of Miami don't have that type of length
Yeah,
defensively. You know what I'm saying? So I see what everybody's
Even the
saying. but
guards was long because you had Chauncey was 6'4", Rip was
exactly
like 6'6", 6'5". So
exactly. Long
that's
as
at the
hell.
guard, yeah.
So they were super long. Like this Miami.
Yeah. And they're deep. They were known for their defense.
For the
yeah.
defense.
Of course.
Miami don't have that type of defense.
No, they
give it
don't
up-
have. They have good defense, but
yeah,
they don't
but
have.
they give it up 100 something to Boston.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
to like 2
You was
players,
shutting
2 in a
teams down to
possible.
80 points, 85 points.
So
That's crazy.
the second part of my question was, we all are predicting that LeBron gets his 4th title.
Mhm.
Where does he go into the GOAT conversation after that?
He look.
That's
there's only,
over, man.
Yeah, it's only like 2 or 3 people that you even mentioned in that breath. He's one of them. If you want to say he's the best, by all means. If you want to say there's 1 or 2 or 3 people better than him, but he's in the conversation. I think
Regardless if he wins the title or not.
regardless.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think it comes down to criteria and what you evaluate. 6-0 holds a lot of weight. It's been, mythologized over the years. Like it's this huge thing. So, oddly enough, it works for Jordan, but it doesn't work for Montana. But who am I to judge? Because Montana was 4-0 in Super Bowls and Brady had some losses. But hey, who am I? But I think when you look at like his career, Magic went to 9, yeah, and he was 5-4.
Yep.
9 out of 10 finals in a decade is pretty fucking damn good.
Yeah, bro.
That's how much basketball you're playing.
And Olympics.
Mentally,
and that
He's
too.
Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
mentally,
only argument he has. That
Longevity, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
and durability.
yeah.
Colin Cowherd said it a week ago, and I agree a lot with what he says, and sometimes I'll be side-eyed.
He had the Ravens going 16-0, but go ahead.
Yeah.
What
yeah,
Colin
hey,
said
it is what it is. However, he said LeBron has been the best player for the longest. We've never seen a guy year 17 do what the hell LeBron doing, bro.
In any
We've
sport.
never seen
Any
it.
sport.
Any sport.
Maybe Serena. But that's
I was about to say Serena,
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather.
But like team sport.
Well, you know what the difference in what LeBron has done is that he's done it from day one. Like he was the kid that was on Sports Illustrated cover at age of 16, and he's been followed and critiqued. In his first game, he was 25-5. So he is one of those rare athletes that got the hype and exceeded the hype. And this actually is a great point because this is why I took offense to what you said in the chat, Nick, the other day. The problem I had with you and everybody else on social media was that when we saw that game the other night where LeBron put the Lakers on his back, he scored all the points coming down the stretch. There was no mention of how clutch LeBron was. There was no mention about how he, was big in the moment. We always heard, well, he chokes up in the moment, or he gets criticized for making the right play or whatever the case may be. This guy is one of the, if not the greatest basketball player that most of us have ever seen before. Now, like people said, where you want to rank him it's up to you. I'm beyond that. But I heard no mention about anything about how his greatness was and the fact that he was clutch and the quote unquote killer instinct, because LeBron is a killer. Is he the same killer as Kobe? No, but he's a killer. And nobody mentioned that. And that's why I took offense to what you said in the chat, because I was like, no, he's a killer. He is a finisher. He did every single thing that the Lakers needed him to do coming down the stretch. And I have no doubt in my mind, if there's a game 2, if there's a game 3, and you need LeBron to do that again, he'll do it. I don't trust Anthony Davis to do it in the fourth quarter when it counts. I trust LeBron James. You know why? Because he's done it over and over and over again. And I think I keep going back to what I've often asked on social media. I don't know why y'all don't like this guy. You don't have to be a fan, but I don't know why y'all don't like him. He has done everything that you're supposed to do, done it the right way. He's won on, and I can make a case that he's won more off the court than he's won on the court. So to piggyback on the question that you asked, if he lost his finals, honestly, it wouldn't be a scratch on his legacy, because his legacy is cemented. We're the ones that's constantly trying to change the narrative of, well, is he better than Magic? Is he better than, like, I saw somebody put up a post like, if he wins, he'll be the third best Laker. I mean, like, who comes up with that kind of stuff? I mean, where Laker he fits fans. In the where he sits. Well, here's the thing: to some Laker fans, LeBron can win 10 titles. He'll never be what Kobe is to them, and rightfully so, because Kobe was homegrown. They drafted Kobe as a kid, and there's a generation of Laker fans who grew up with Kobe from day one. LeBron is, and to be honest, a lot of those same Laker fans spent most of their life hating LeBron, so he'll never match up to Kobe. And it's not fair to him to be put in that same category. But I don't understand why LeBron catches so much flack from you. I ain't gonna say you, some of the fans about this quote unquote killer instinct, because he killed that team the other day. He said it in the press conference. They asked him, well, what did you think? He said, I didn't want to play another game. Period. I did not want to play another game. I wanted to end that series as bad as they wanted to win it. And when you hear comments like that, based on what you've seen, he believes that. So again, if to FIFO's point, if it's 3 minutes left and the Lakers are up by 6, I expect LeBron to carry him home, because he's done it before. More often than not, he's not going to come up short. And like I said, wherever you want to rank him, that's fine. But for those of you who don't think that he doesn't have a killer gene or killer instinct or whatever, y'all crazy. You're crazy.
And you know what, Kyle?
I'm not going that far.
So there's a stat that I saw the other day, and it quantified to me the greatness of LeBron. I think it speaks to a lot of the things that we're talking about right now. He has the most playoff field goals ever, and it ain't close. The next person is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He has like almost 300 more made playoff field goals than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Wow. And he's still going strong. He's still averaging 25 plus. He's still, to what Kyle is saying, down the stretch, he's the guy. We've never seen this.
You see where he had a triple-double list too?
No, where's he?
Magic, Magic got 30 for most triple-doubles in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Most triple-doubles, Magic got 30, LeBron got 27. Right there.
You know what's interesting? The other day, I had to look it up. He's about to be 35 years old, or he might be 35 now.
No,
I forgot how old he was.
36.
Okay, he's 35. I forgot how old he was, because you don't play this well at this age.
Not
Father
at
time
17
catches up
years
with
in the
everybody.
league, man.
Not 17 years in the league. And I'm not going to compare him to Jordan, but as somebody who's a huge Jordan fan that watched Jordan, Jordan was not like this in year 15, 16, or whatever Mike's last years were. And it's not to compare the two, but I just want to bring it into context for those who didn't see Prime Mike. Prime Mike and Prime LeBron are two different players. It's like comparing a Benz and a Beamer.
Yep.
You know, both are great cars. It just depends on what you want. Again, I'm beyond the quantification of where you put LeBron as far as the pantheon of greats. It looks like he's going to win his fourth ring, but to me, he doesn't have to win another ring to be where he is because his legacy is already cemented.
Mhm.
Yeah, LeBron, if you talk about Jimmy was saving his energy, LeBron was saving his energy. And he just let
I agree.
AD do all the leg work until he needed to put it to bed, and that's what he did. And you remember Jamal Murray's press conference after they were down 3-1?
Yeah, I remember some quote about it. He said,
Do you remember how he looked? Do you remember the look on
He
his
looked
face?
defeated. He looked defeated.
Mhm.
Looked defeated and tired.
Those 16 points in the
Yeah.
fourth quarter is the reason why.
Well, yeah.
He knew that LeBron is not Kawhi or Paul George,
Mhm.
and he was hurt too. But when LeBron started going off the way he did, and we're talking about the shots were difficult.
Yeah, difficult.
You know, they weren't all easy shots except for that three, but for the most part, he just killed him. Jamal Murray knew that was
That was
more than
coming.
likely
It
going
was
to
gonna
come,
happen, yeah.
and that's why he was down, because he was like the last thing. Even Mike Malone said it. He was like, "Yeah, this is not the spot we wanted to be in."
Right.
You know what it is?
Right.
You know what it is?
Listen to what these guys are
nah,
saying,
but
man.
I mean,
You know what it
for the
is?
record, I've
Watch,
go ahead, Kyle.
you watch basketball. When you watch basketball, and all of us listening are basketball fans, particularly even as the finals go on, watch people's faces and their body language.
Mhm.
LeBron in that fourth quarter, his body language was like, look, I'm about to take it over. And you could see Denver, you could see them at each possession, every shot he was making, they were losing confidence. It
They
was
were
in there.
shrinking.
I saw everybody do that against Kobe because they were just like, well, damn, this dude is on one. We can't do nothing with it. We
Yeah.
can't do anything to stop. Same for Jordan.
Demoralizing.
Same for Magic, same for Bird, same for Isaiah. When you have a superstar that's going off like that, there's nothing you can do. You can only hope that they can miss,
Yep.
but LeBron just has it in him. Like, look, and the difference between him and some of the other superstars that I mentioned is that he's smart enough to know, like, look, if I don't have it going tonight, I'm going to find the guy that does. I'm going to do something else. And I'll just put it like this, and I'll close with this. He is one of the rare athletes and specimens that we'll ever see in our lifetime in any sport. And I think some people are going to have to revisit how they think about him, because I think they let a lot of hate block his greatness. Because like FIFO said, bro, triple double at 35, that doesn't happen. You can check the stats. That doesn't happen. And he makes a triple double look easy.
And Kyle, what do I always say in the chat? Off the court, LeBron James is the GOAT to me. All right.
Yeah. I agree.
And I've also said on this podcast that from me growing up watching basketball, LeBron James, as far as what I've seen, is the best basketball player I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
But when we have these other conversations about comparisons, that's when I have these criticisms. That's where you see what some people deem hate. But LeBron, obviously, again, we've all said it on here before, like a few weeks ago, a couple episodes ago. LeBron's the best player in the world right now in the NBA.
Right.
Still is. And I don't see that changing, at least for the next probably 2-3 years.
I don't see no slowing down in this game.
I
I
don't
don't see
know.
no slowing.
Until other
And let me-
players
You can see
excel.
some
Let
decline
me
in
ask y'all
that.
a quick question about that, though.
Other
Do
than
you
that,
think
nothing
that-
else.
You think that players were more afraid to face Jordan back then, or more afraid to face LeBron today?
I think players were more afraid to face Jordan because they didn't. Jordan, it's like when you go back to The Last Dance, about listening about how those guys talked about him, because they didn't know Jordan. We know LeBron. We know about we know more about LeBron now than we ever knew about Jordan. That's why the Last Dance was so fascinating, because even lifelong fans like me and the rest of you guys, we were learning stuff watching The Last Dance that we never knew because we weren't privy to that information. Jordan never let you get close enough to him to, I mean, you wasn't knowing what Jordan was eating for cereal. You didn't know what he did after the games. But
Mhm.
LeBron lets us in, and obviously, with technology, social media, and everything like that, you can follow him and his travels. But no, LeBron isn't as feared. He's just as respected, and I don't think there's. I think the only difference in him not being as feared as Jordan is just the eras. That's all. That's all. But I tell you
He was
what,
coming in between eras too. That's why I like
exactly.
when you hear the Paul Pierces, the Kevin Garnett, like he was coming in while they were still doing shit. So it's like I'm not scared of you because I still maybe see you as a rookie or as a youngin. Like maybe the players now, you can see the respect factor now where you be like, oh, that's LeBron James. You could tell
Right.
motherfuckers is like, all right, this I want to talk to him after the game. I want to get his jersey signed type shit.
Mhm.
But when LeBron was in his prime, and you could argue he's still in his prime, a lot of niggas ate during that time. So it's not like he was like Jordan was stopping motherfuckers. If you
How
saw
many?
Jordan,
You say a lot of people ate during LeBron's time?
yeah.
Only like the team.
What's his
never
finals
mind.
record?
Never mind.
You know what I'm saying?
Never
That's
mind.
what I
We
was
gonna
gonna
be
say.
like we're talking about the fucking Golden State Warriors are responsible for 3 of them. Like,
Yeah, one of the best
bro,
teams.
like, come on.
With Kevin
Again.
Durant.
Yeah, it's like
You face who you face, right?
contest. Nah, but you making it seem like a lot of unknown motherfuckers just popped
I'm just
up
saying.
and
I
whooped his
saw
ass.
Dirk and J Kidd get their ring. I saw who else?
Dirk
did I-
was on one though.
I saw Tim Duncan and Kawhi get his first ring.
We're talking about the greatest coach of all time and the number 1 power forward of all time.
I'm just
That's
talking-
not a lot of
Hey,
niggas.
I'm just saying who
Nick,
got
Nick,
rings during his
Nick.
time frame.
Nick, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. There were other teams that got rings in Bird's era. There was other teams that got rings in Magic's era. There was other teams that got rings in Isaiah's era. There were other teams that got rings in Jordan's era. It happens.
But not when he was deemed the best. That's all I'm saying.
And
He
all I'm
quit.
saying,
Yeah, he quit because he said he was too good.
all I'm saying is Jordan was called a god by one of the greatest players that
Oh,
ever
of
played the
course.
game.
Yeah,
I ain't never heard nobody say that about LeBron. I'm not knocking
He white, he
LeBron.
was jealous. He couldn't jump that. Just playing, y'all.
like I said, I'm not gonna compare Jordan and LeBron. They're two different players. But I want people to understand and realize the greatness that we're witnessing, because when it's gone, it's gone.
Yep, it's
That's
gone.
the
And
point
you
I was
gonna
gonna. I
feel
agree with you on that.
bad that you spent 20 years hating this dude, and this dude was the best player that you've seen in your life. You're gonna sit there and tell your grandkid, you ain't gonna tell your grandkids, yo, LeBron was all right. Your grandkids gonna say, your granddad, how was this dude LeBron James? How good was he? Is he like such and such? No. It was a bad motherfucker. That's what you're gonna say.
He probably still gonna be playing, Kyle.
He might be. He might be. Hey, you know what's the crazy thing about LeBron? And again, it speaks to his longevity. LeBron has been the greatest, not just the greatest basketball player for 17 years, the greatest, arguably, the athlete in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, we saw Bo Jackson. We saw a lot of these guys that were crazy athletic and get hurt and not be able to finish their career like we think they should. LeBron's the only one. Name me another guy that's been the best athlete and finished their career the way they're supposed to.
LeBron spends about
all this shit. He's gonna go out and lose.
Yeah, he spends about $2 million a year on his body too. That's some some stuff that they didn't have back then. But it's amazing that he's been able to do what he's done for this long, and that's really true. That's true.
A testament to him taking care of his body, because, like you said, because other than the injury that he had last year, he never missed any significant amount of time due to injury. So, and to have the kind of career that he's had, that's saying a lot.
Yeah, because look, we've all played basketball. I know I done fucked up my ankles a whole bunch of times. How many times you see LeBron miss a game for an ankle sprain?
Never.
And the way he plays basketball with that level of ferocity, agility, jumping,
no bad
defending,
knees, never tore nothing in his knees, and
he
like
ain't
that.
a small dude.
No.
This dude is a freight train. Like I've never seen nothing like it, man. Like it's exceptional.
Yeah.
You better take a picture of it, man, because the next LeBron probably ain't born yet.
We might be watching them though.
Who? Zion?
Oh, Jesus
No.
Christ.
All right, let's move a different sport.
From a physical perspective.
Let's move on.
I'm not talking game. Game is different. But from an athlete, I ain't never seen no shit like Zion. Tell me if you have, because I haven't.
I haven't either, but we got to
boy,
see
I
him
love
stay
football,
healthy.
man.
And real quick, we skipped the super chat. BZ820, appreciate that. He said, can the Heat keep this team together, win or lose in the finals?
Yeah, because they all making like $3 million.
Yeah, I think so.
Except Jimmy.
Yeah, I think they can.
I think
they
so.
can. I think they can keep those guys together.
But they also might trade those guys to get a bigger piece. Like
Sure,
you know how Pat Riley.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, I wonder who he's gonna trade. Though.
I
But I
don't
think
know.
he got his guys. Hero Bam, I feel are the centerpiece. So yeah, to
Yeah.
your point, Dragic may go.
Even
Yeah.
Kendrick Nunn.
Oh yeah, Kendrick Nunn can go.
Is,
Yeah,
but
As
you
good
know,
as he is, yeah.
he
man,
might go.
Tyler Hero, that dude. We didn't
He
give
is.
him enough love, man.
He
Like
is.
He
the-
was
the-
busting Jason Tatum's ass.
I know Jason
was.
Tatum should be ashamed.
He was busting Jason Tatum's ass.
He should be ashamed. Somebody need to highlight.
Man.
Euro to the, and
Man.
the defender was just right. If he was a second earlier, he probably got the
Man.
block, but he didn't.
I was
Yeah.
like, damn, Jason Tatum, that boy working.
Letting that
his
white
ass.
boy cook him like that.
And he got a Black Lives Matter shirt on.
I like
I,
that.
and he did it. You're right. You're right. He was.
He got Black Lives Matter shirt on and he killing it. Why you got Black Lives Matter shirt on and you killing it?
You ain't supposed to say that, B. You supposed to keep that behind closed doors. We talk about that behind closed. We don't say that out loud.
You know what I'm saying?
Stupid, man.
What type of crap is that, man? Damn, Tyler. If you had any heart, you would let them block them shots. You know what I'm saying? You would let them get them steals.
For the culture.
Shit.
Oh Lord. Boy, you
Hey,
stupid.
one other quick super chat. I think it was it Marty McFly? He said, Ken, where that Skip and Shannon smoke at?
Hey man, I got it, man. They want to hear some NFL talk, so you know I'm gonna hold it. But yeah, I'm ready.
We got breaking news in the NFL as far as the first COVID outbreak between the Tennessee Titans and the Minnesota Vikings. They shut down their facilities and they're just taking a pause right now. They're still scheduled to play their games. I think it's either Sunday or Monday. But this just to report that we're starting to see where the people said they expected this to happen. Obviously, with COVID during the pandemic, you can't expect it to be, easy breezy, but that's the first. So we'll see how that affects the NFL season. But y'all did cover the biggest game of the week against Patty Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Let's talk about that. I know y'all did y'all little live coverage of it, but as far
Yeah,
as
you know what?
recaps.
Yeah. It was a disappointing game. More so from the standpoint of what the Ravens did. It got close, so I think that they managed to take a turnover, a fumble, and go down and score. But Patrick Mahomes, man, he just was like, all right, we'll just go 8-9 plays down and score, and then that'll be that.
So that stood out to you more between the Lamar
No,
and
what
Patty?
stood out to me is the horrible coaching Jim Harbaugh is doing when it comes to Lamar Jackson.
Man.
He has that man handcuffed, and he is afraid to let this man throw. The other thing that stood out are the wide receivers. Willie Snead, 4, 5, 6, and 7 need to go. All the motherfuckers need to get off this goddamn team because he is absolutely out there with no purpose.
Bruh.
Play the young guys. Boykin, which I saw somebody say is very good at blocking. Develop Duvernay, or however you say his name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Devin Duvernay. I know
Hollywood
he's
Brown.
young. And then Hollywood Brown. Let them go. And if they can't run routes the way you want, if their right route tree is small and it looks like it is, then that's coaching. So that's all he's running is like crossing and like drag routes and shit like that. And it's like Harbaugh. He has him handcuffed. And it's beyond pathetic that he's holding this man back like this.
You're going. This is his first.
First
No.
First what?
No. I agree with Ken. When you look at their offense, it has training wheels on it, and Lamar has surpassed that. He surpassed that last year. Last year was the training wheels. This year is the big wheel. No training wheels.
Because he's the MVP now.
Because he's the MVP. We see, but here's the thing: Lamar still has some work to do on his own individualness too, because he has a propensity to try to throw that ball like try to just zing it in there instead of throwing air.
Mhm.
We see Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson has the best deep ball.
Best
Yeah, he
quarterback in the
does.
league.
I agree.
I
I agree. I agree. And we could talk about that. But he needs to lob more balls, especially those deep balls that he's throwing. And I agree with Ken too. The route trees that these wide receivers are running are very limited. I think one of the biggest thing that stuck out to me is when they mentioned last night during the game was that he's 0 whatever when they're trailing by 10.
Mm.
10 is not a big deficit.
That's NFL.
Yeah,
That's
10 is nothing to
Like-
Patty.
What was that?
I say 10 is nothing to Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly.
We're not talking about him.
We're not talking about him right now. However, if you are the franchise, if you are a top 3 quarterback in the league, 10 points should not be much to overcome. And that is surprising and eye-raising. And I think that the gap you saw the gap widen between Patrick Mahomes and Lamar last night.
because I do agree. My question was stemming from like what stood out more, Patty's performance or Lamar's. Lamar stood out because it seems like when you can't run the ball, it's a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
You beat.
They run the
Ravens.
pass, not pass the run.
Yep.
Exactly. And then like you talked about, there was a play that Lamar had that was an easy touchdown for Hollywood Brown.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, he bulleted through.
Yeah.
He's like my friend said, he held square. He didn't tap it.
He didn't tap it.
Because he had him wide open
Yeah.
for a
But
touchdown.
one of the things that I said is that, you know, he didn't have a lot of reps, and he's not that type of quarterback, I feel, to be able to just make that throw like that. Everything's been kind of like short and medium.
No, but
That was his first deep throw.
so I do agree. Lamar has his deficiencies that he will overcome. I think he can overcome. Harbaugh just has to get.
I disagree.
His tight ends
I don't
can't
think
be
he will.
his tight ends can't be his number one option.
But
Yeah,
they
well,
can't be
and
dropping the
also-
ball either.
Also, what we're leaving out, and Ken's right. I think that Harbaugh called a horrible game on both sides of the ball as far as their game planning was. But Lamar got to get better at reading defenses too, because they was blitzing him from
Yep.
all angles. He didn't know where the blitz was coming from,
Mm-hmm.
and he was a hot potato. He was trying to get out his hand. That's why he was overthrowing the ball, is because he was just trying to get rid of it. And several times you saw him get rattled in the pocket, like, they own me. And they were on him quick because he didn't know where they were coming from. Neither did the lineman, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a overall dominant performance by Kansas City. They were running trick plays. I was like, this is like the Harlem Globetrotters and Washington Generals out here. It was like just crazy stuff going on. But
And another thing about Kansas City that people, again, I think me and people talked about this last week. They have a run game.
Yeah.
They are developing their
Right.
run game. And that kid was named Clyde Edwards, whatever.
Hilaire.
yeah.
That kid is gonna be dangerous. Like
Yes, sir.
we saw a glimmer with Kareem Hunt as far as what happens in this offense with a dynamic running back. This kid is young, he's quick, he's shifty,
And he can catch.
and he can catch
Yeah.
and then you got Patty who's able to do. He had 3 touchdowns and he ran for a touchdown in the first half.
But you know, like going back to your question, right? Like what stood out to me, it was more about Patrick Mahomes than it was Lamar Jackson. Obviously, I had all of those same takeaways. But the thing about, I think Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes are in the category in their own. Those two guys, you put them wherever you want, 1 or 2, 2 and 1, whatever the hell. But the fact that, and remember, I made a big deal about this, was when Patrick Mahomes said, I finally learned how to read a defense. You see what that looked like now. You see what that, and that's a major problem for every other defense in this damn NFL, because he was 17 out of 20 when you blitzed him for 2 touchdowns. Bruh, if you can't blitz him now, like what are you have to be able to generate pressure without blitzing him. And there's not many teams, not many defenses that can do that. So off the rip, he's gonna run through this league. Now that he knows and he has an answer, it felt like he was cheating out there, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knew what was gonna happen.
And I think
Yeah.
He's definitely a cheat code. I think he's at the point where you hear a lot of quarterbacks talk about where the game slows down for them and they're able to see everything.
Yeah.
At this point, they're scary. I mean, and I'm not going to sit here and say they can go 16-0 or anything like that, but they are much, like you said, with the running back, they look better than they did last year, which is saying a lot. Mahomes is like through.
Can't hear you, Kyle.
You went out again, Kyle.
the internet.
Probably making some fire points too.
Mhm. Damn.
That's how it sounds when we were kids. The kids probably.
But yeah,
I can't hear. Can you hear you,
If-
Shelton? Oh yeah, I can hear Shelton. Yep.
yeah. If Kareem Hunt was still there though, I'd like Clyde is nice, but if Kareem Hunt was still there,
I'm
it
confused.
would be. There's no
Somebody
question they could go 16-0 as long as nobody got hurt. But that team is crazy, man. They have very few deficiencies on they have none on the offensive side of the ball right now
No.
that I can tell.
Right.
There you go. You
Go
back
ahead,
now,
go
Kyle.
ahead, Kyle. Finish
You
your
can
Oh,
drop-
my bad. So, but what I was saying was like, I think at this point, they have really kind of handicapped Lamar Jackson. Last year, they had a lot of 2 and 3 tight end sets. Last night, he was really bottled in by the plays that they were running. And the reason why I think his record is the way that it is, like you said, with them being down 10 points or more, is because it's so run heavy. So if they get behind, a 10-point lead to them is almost like a 20-point lead to most teams, because it takes them that much longer to score. They're going to have to develop those receivers, and they're going to have to challenge teams downfield. I didn't see a lot, and I know last night Lamar was running for his life, but Kansas City really isn't known for their defense, and they played them pretty well. They kept him in the pocket for the most part. But I think some of that you can attribute to Harbaugh calling a bad game. But they're going to have to take the training wheels off and let him throw deep. Sometimes you got to throw deep just to let people know, hey, we'll throw deep. But when you're just running crossing routes, I mean, at some point the defense is just going to sit on that stuff. And then you got guys crossing each other and everything like that. There's going to be a turnover here or there. And teams are going to spy Lamar. Now, granted, Baltimore is good enough to beat almost all the teams in the AFC. But right now, they're not messing with Kansas City.
Lamar is 21-1 against the rest of the league,
NFL.
and he's 0-4 against Kansas City. That's
Isn't that 0-3? Isn't that crazy? He's 0-3 against Kansas City. But isn't that crazy?
0-4.
0-4.
It's 0-3, right?
I thought it was on 3.
It's 0-3. He's
Yeah, I
only
thought it was
lost
on
4
I think
games.
it's including the playoffs. He ain't won a game.
Yeah, he ain't won.
He ain't win.
Right.
He ain't
win.
He didn't win.
But in the chat, we got Kyle. You and B had something to say about Lamar's post game interview or post game quotes as far as
Right.
calling the Chiefs his kryptonite. Can y'all elaborate on that?
Yes, as a competitor, you're not supposed to, someone that's a leader of, the QB, you're the leader of the team, right? You looked at it as the leader of the team or one of the leaders of the team. You're not supposed to say, don't even say it publicly, or don't even say it privately unless it's inside of your head. Don't say it out. Don't say it in the locker room or nothing. You're not supposed to let another team know that you're kryptonite. Because
You let the writers write that.
yeah,
Right.
You
You're
can
not
feel
supposed to
that,
say that.
or even
Yeah.
it could be the God honest truth.
Yeah.
But you let the writers write that, bro.
don't say that in no press conference out loud. So now, what do you think the Chiefs are hearing? They're like, oh yeah, we got these, man.
Yep.
We
Who
what
next?
you know.
I
what
mean, I don't know
Yeah.
what the Chiefs will say. They already they never beat us, so
That's
he
what I'm
right
saying.
too.
So it's like now you saying that. So then, what you think your guys that's in the dogfight? What you gonna think? Oh man, our QB saying this team is kryptonite, so maybe we really can't beat them. Like you never know what that can do to your team's psyche, man. If you're the leader, they look to you to lead, and you saying, oh man, this team my kryptonite. I don't care. Even when I played basketball, when I played AAU, it was teams I was like, man, these motherfuckers, damn. But I never was like, y'all, we got these guys. I don't know if we can get them, man. They always beat us. Like we always win this thing, hoping that or knowing that we're gonna beat this team, even if we talent wise we wasn't there, but we still was gonna go out there and fight and give it our all. You're not supposed to say privately or even out loud to that matter, this team is our kryptonite. Even if it is true, don't say it. You know what I'm saying? Don't put it out there.
And you know what's funny, Nick? I've seen you in our group chat go back and forth with the fellas about Madden, and you won't concede in Madden. So I'm surprised that you were surprised that he said this, because it's like, no, I agree with B 1,000%. You don't let your opponent know that they got the upper hand, even if they do. I mean, we saw for years and years Peyton Manning couldn't beat Tom Brady in the big games. I ain't talking about just regular season. They would play in the AFC Championship game, divisional round. You never heard Peyton. To this day, Peyton Manning will give Tom Brady but so much props. And it's not that he dislikes Brady. It's the fact that Brady, because he couldn't beat him. And, it is what it is. You just don't, that's not something you say publicly. You'll never heard Jordan say, well, man, I just couldn't get past the Pistons. They were my kryptonite. No, they were, but he would have never, I mean, hell, you saw him on The Last Dance. He still hates the Pistons. So it doesn't matter. I mean, like to B's point, man, a competitor is a competitor is a competitor. I don't think you ever concede that. And again, it makes your teammates look at you like, well, what are you saying? And then again, the last point is you have to understand that these two teams will probably see each other again. And it's probably going to be in Kansas City. And it's
Right.
probably going to be cold. And it's
Right.
probably going to be for all the marbles to go to the Super Bowl. And is this what you want your quarterback to think? This team has our number?
Nope.
Nah, you can't say that, man.
Yeah, you can't. I think I hope he was speaking out in frustration, just talking, like I'm frustrated about what just happened in this game and embarrassed that I only had 97 yards passing. I'm hoping that was the case. And like I said, I think that there's better days to come for him. To Ken's point, it really was not his fault like that. He's part to blame because you got to get out there and make some plays, but it's not all his fault. He just did not look prepared, and neither did any of the other 21 players on the field on offense or defense. The only place that they won was special teams because they ran the kickoff back. But other than that, they lost in every other phase of the game, and that was from beginning to end. And I'm shocked that they didn't put up 50 on them with the way they were looking yesterday. It was just incredible. It reminded me of one of those games where I don't know if you ever saw when the undermatched team comes in and plays the big team. It's normally college football, I guess. And it's like we got to try to just keep them off the field. We just got to do whatever we got to do to keep them off the field. It's kind of like they were playing like that. Like we just need to stay close, not we're gonna win this game. You know what I'm saying?
And the crazy thing about the Kansas City offense is like they can score in like 2 minutes or less. So
Mhm.
like they'll put up all these points and they'll give you the ball right back. So it's like you can do whatever you want with it. You got all this time. We'll match you regardless.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Ozzie Newsome.
Bro.
I loved how they gave him a spotlight for the Monday night game. Ever since he got there as GM, he got him 2 Super Bowl titles, drafted 3 Hall of Famers because I'm expecting Lamar to be the 3rd.
No. Lamar would be a 4th.
Who was I thought it was Ray
Ed
Lewis,
Reed.
Ed Reed,
Mm-hmm.
and who else?
Jonathan Ogden.
There you go.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so Lamar
Ozzie
will be
Newsome.
number 4.
Yeah, Lamar will be number 4. Ozzie Newsome, top 3 GM all time for me.
And 25 Pro Bowlers. Get that right.
Mhm.
25 Pro Bowlers.
Wow.
That's ridiculous.
Is he the first and only black GM?
He was the first black GM.
No, I mean like to win the Super Bowl and all that.
No, the Giants GM won a Super Bowl. Jerry Reese.
Yeah, the Giants. Okay.
Unfortunately, there's only one black GM in the NFL right now.
That's crazy.
You gotta do
And
better.
I didn't realize Ozzie Newsome was hired in 2002. Bro, that's
Wow.
18 years ago.
Mm.
Like,
Mhm.
I'm getting old now, so that feels like just yesterday. But it took all the way to 2002 to hire the first black GM.
Yeah.
That's
And look at what
ridiculous.
he did when you put him in position. 2 Super Bowl titles.
And somehow, and switching subjects just a little bit, was something I found out today. I didn't realize there's only 4 black coaches in the NBA. I didn't know that.
Head coaches.
Head coaches, yeah. And I think we're looking at 3 vacancies right now, I think.
So who are the 4?
Let's see. Lloyd Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
Monty
uh,
Williams.
He ain't a coach.
Stop it, Ken. That's my squad. Damn, you put me
Is it
in
Monty
spot.
Williams?
Yeah, Monty Williams in Phoenix.
Yeah.
I think Bickerstaff's son.
JB.
I think he's. Yeah, I think
Is he?
Arizona.
But he's not a head coach.
Is he a heck? I don't know. But I think, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it's only like 4 black head coaches in the NBA.
Maybe
Well,
less.
we gotta. So
to look it
Spo is other. So even though he's not black, he counts toward the minority
POC.
percentage.
We can't claim
He
Spo.
got to the-
We can't claim him.
Well,
Go ahead.
Sounds like the black lives don't really matter, huh? And it sounds like the NBA players need to also speak about that. And I'll just leave it at that.
FIFO, you mentioned Russell Wilson being the best quarterback in the league. Do you think he'll win MVP this season?
yes, he is the MVP because he even though he has a lot of nice shiny toys on the outside now, that O-line is still trash. He has. Remember how we were talking about training wheels with Lamar?
Mm-hmm.
This is the first year they done took that damn training wheels off of Russell
Mhm.
Wilson, and we're seeing it. And he didn't need it. He just played the game. Hey, we can win this way, coach. I trust you. We can win this way. Oh, but you need me to save you every damn week. Just give me the damn ball. Look, you see what they doing?
He's
And
got
they
it.
don't even have Josh Gordon back. Bruh, look, He's the MVP because the only difference to me right now between him and Pat Mahomes, gifted wise, just don't nobody got what he got. He's
just more. He's just more. You say he's more talented.
He's more talented. But what Russell has in terms of experience and not getting hit, and not saying that Pat Mahomes don't get hit like that because he don't, but Russell runs more than Pat does. Russell has to. Russell doesn't have as many weapons. You know what I'm saying? Like the Seattle Seahawks have 0 pass rush. Yeah, they're good in the secondary. Yeah, they got Bobby Wagner. What type of pass rush they got? You see, what's his name? They signed
Jamal Adams.
No. They signed big money too for Kansas City. He had major impact last night. The lineman,
Chris Jones.
Chris
Yeah,
Jones.
Chris Jones.
You know what I'm saying? You see what that does. The Kansas City Chiefs have a little bit more. And again, if you want to say, well, we shouldn't ding Pat Mahomes for that, or Patrick Mahomes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't make Mama mad.
Yeah. I ain't gonna make
Tweet us.
Mama mad. But you know, Patrick Mahomes, Russell don't have the same, and he's the numbers better.
I would say he has better weapons than Patty, or as good,
Bro,
Tyler.
Sammy Watkins running 4.3, and that's the slow guy. That's the slow guy.
Yeah, that's a slow. Yeah.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. You got Greg Olsen. You have who else?
Greg Olsen,
You have-
Greg
175.
Olsen's past his prime.
You got you said Josh Gordon. Like you said, one
Who
healthy-
hasn't played yet?
I'm just saying, like one healthy.
McCole Hardman,
but-
Tyreek Hill.
McCole Hardman is not a top.
You can't count
20
Josh Gordon when
receiver
he's
or
talking
third-
about the first 3 games. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm just saying, like the roster that they have.
But
It's not
the
better than
Josh
Kansas
Gordon shouldn't be included in that roster because he hasn't played on the field.
I'm saying they're either greater than or equal to when it comes to weapons.
I don't think so.
Not at all. Not at all.
You don't think?
Travis Kelce and Greg Olsen.
Yeah, you
Maybe
get that, you get
when
that.
Greg Olsen was in his prime,
Yeah.
No, that's
maybe.
it's
Kelce's still a little bit
no,
better.
It's not even close. That's not
No,
even.
I'm not comparing Travis Kelce to Greg. I'm just
Okay.
saying, like when you go down, like the weapons, like these are like Patrick Mahomes.
It's not the same.
No,
It's
he'll
not
put
the
the same
same.
up. He'll put the same.
not-
numbers up.
I'm-
It's not more with this.
You can stop that argument with this. Tariq Hill and Travis Kelce are better than anything that any of them can put out there on the field. They're far in the head.
I don't know about
And we
that.
didn't even talk about running back.
Yeah, we
Did we
didn't
talk
get to
about
running
running
back. We didn't even get to running back.
The rookie,
He better
Yeah, the
than anybody
rookie.
in Seattle got.
The
Chris
rookie.
Carson is
Man.
bruh. Don't sleep on Chris.
Man.
Don't act like he a scrub.
Second or third tier
Chris
running back.
Carson is a walking Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what he is.
He
Second,
is.
third tier running back, bro.
From what I remember, he is definitely a walking man.
Yes.
That dude stay brittle.
Kansas City got more.
Still
bro.
get 1,000 yards a season.
Yeah,
That's
Kansas
cool.
City got better people not even playing than what.
They run 500 times a season. That's why they got 1,000 yards.
Stats.
Hey, 2
Hey,
yards
hey,
a carry,
Nick.
that ain't nothing.
Nick,
But nah, man, Russell Wilson's the MVP, bro.
Nick, I got the 4 coaches. Is Dwayne Casey, Lloyd Pierce, JB Bickerstaff, and Monty Williams.
The big
I put
staff.
Spo in there.
We can't claim Spo, man.
He is under those.
He like Ron Rivera for the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like we
that's
claim Ron
exactly
Rivera.
right.
Y'all stupid. But Kyle, you think Russell gonna win the MVP this season?
He's playing like it. I mean, like, I think Seattle asked him to do something different than, Kansas City asked Patrick Mahomes to do. But man, Russ is out there every week, man. He's putting up 4 or 5 touchdowns, going for 350 a week. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's always scrambling. He does a lot, man. And honestly, he's done a lot with less. Russ has never really had like a game breaker number 1 type receiver. Even the years that they went to the Super Bowl, he was out there with, second tier receivers. If he keeps this up, yeah, he's definitely, you got to give him the MVP. It's Mahomes will probably move in the position like where LeBron is, where you can try to figure out reasons not to give him the MVP. But given the fact that Russell Wilson, I don't even think he's gotten the MVP, like first place ballot votes.
I don't
He
think
has
has
not.
either.
He hasn't.
So this year, I think even by default, if he keeps this up, he'll get it, just on the strength of the fact that he hadn't gotten it before.
Yes. You're right about that. I think that the league is taking notice of the fact that he hadn't got it. And they're like, what? And then with the way he's playing, he's a shoe in for it. I think that the only thing he can do is like I said, barring injury or some ultimate collapse of the team, there's no way you can't give it to him. You have to. It's like a lifetime achievement award
Yeah,
almost
exactly.
for
Exactly.
his consistency, and it's deserved in this case. Unlike others, this one would be deserved because him and like FIFO said, him and Patrick Mahomes are doing exactly what they need to do for their teams.
Right.
Exactly. Each one of them are doing exactly what they need to do for them teams to be successful. And as long as they keep up the pace they're on, I'm happy because they're both black.
Speaking of black, Kyle, I got a question for you. When should Philly start Jalen Hurts?
Oh. You can't start him. And the reason being is that not because he's not good enough, but they've invested too much in Carson Wentz. And they've got a lot of money tied up into Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz hasn't played well. I haven't seen much of Philly, but the little bit that I've seen of them, they look trash. I mean, like, they look
They
lost.
tied with the Bengals. That's all you got to say.
Oh, are they worse than the Falcons?
No,
Okay.
nobody's worse than the Falcons.
Okay.
Y'all, hey, don't get me started, Kyle.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
We not we want to keep this show up here. We're not bringing the show down. But yeah, man, you can play Jalen Hurts. Maybe you can find some packages for him like New Orleans does for the little dude that backs up Drew Brees. But you can't play him just yet because economic wise, you can't get rid of Wentz just yet. There's too much money tied into him, and the GM that drafted him, his job is tied to him. So, barring injury, if you take him out of the game and he doesn't, and let's say Jalen Hurts comes in and does well, Jalen Hurts would be the new quarterback, and that GM that drafted him is going to get fired. Similar to what's going on in Chicago, wherein you got Trubisky, and the Bears moved up a couple of draft places to draft Mitchell Trubisky. He gets drafted, and they pass on Patrick Mahomes. And Trubisky's in a quarterback battle with Nick Foles, and it looks like Nick Foles is probably going to be the guy.
Yeah, the battle's done.
So and so
That wasn't a battle; it was a tussle.
so the GM who drafted him is probably going to get fired because when you move around like that and you take a quarterback that high, they have to be on the field. Just the economics say that they have to be. So they can't punt on Carson Wentz just yet, but he hasn't looked good at all.
And also to add to your point, I don't think Jalen's ready quite yet. I think that he will develop into a quarterback. I just believe in Jalen. I've watched him for this pretty much his whole career, and I watched all his Oklahoma games. I think Jalen is a nice quarterback. I think that he's still developing, however, and it's going to take some time for him to get there. But he's a winner. He's a leader, and we just got to see if he can make all the throws at this point. Once we figure that part out, I think he's going to get in there, but I wouldn't put him until at least next year. He wouldn't see the field until next year for me.
Yeah, when Wentz's contract isn't hitting as much toward the cap, then maybe and that's only contingent if he continues to play this bad. But he hasn't played well, and subsequently Philly hasn't played well either.
And I think they can get out the cap or his contract as far as dead cap money in 2022. That's an out that they can get out of. Kyle, you mentioned the Bears with Mitch. Can the Bears win the AFC North now that Foles is the starter? NFC.
No, because it's still Nick Foles. Like, we've seen what he is. We saw it when he went. Where did he go? Carolina, Jacksonville. Where did he go?
He got hurt though.
Jacksonville.
Okay, yeah, we saw that.
He got hurt throwing the touchdown.
They got rid of him from Minshew.
They getting rid of everybody in Jacksonville. That's not.
He got hurt. He got hurt getting out of bed, man. He stayed hurt. So
yeah. So no, he'll play better than Trubisky. I'm not. That I will think. I think he'll do. But no, I think Foles, man, is just that Super Bowl got him way, way, way overhyped, and people need to really stop that.
But he's better than Trubisky, and he's kind of what the Bears need at like Nick Foles came right on time. He's not the greatest QB, but the way the Bears are constructed, you don't need to have the greatest QB. You got one of the best defenses in the league. You got a whole bunch of weapons and a run game. Obviously, Tariq Cohen just towards ACL,
Mhm.
but they'll figure that out. And Matt Nagy is a very smart offensive guy. He made Mitchell Trubisky relevant or serviceable for 2 years. I don't know how many head coaches can even do that. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
Nick Foles will be all right. The only reason why they're not going to win the division, Aaron Rodgers.
Green Bay, yeah.
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, have you seen Aaron Rodgers? Are you seeing what that man doing?
I'm not saying I'm not saying that it's because I'm looking down on Aaron Rodgers. I'm just saying that the Bears have always had that stout defense, at least for the last 2 seasons, right? And we feel like they're just a quarterback away from elevating because they won.
That ain't the quarterback.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
still
but-
are quarterback.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. Like, we're talking like in your same division, you got Aaron Rodgers. The division goes through him, and the Bears defense is not good enough or better than that Green Bay offense. That Green Bay offense is going to put up points, and even with Nick Foles, I'm a shootout. I'm not putting my money on him.
No.
And I know he can make a lot of throws, and he might have a stretch of 5-6 games. He look like a top 3 quarterback, but that's Nick Foles, bro, versus Aaron Rodgers. There's no way that Bears team is a better team than Green Bay.
We said the same thing. Nick Foles against Tom Brady. They was dueling out.
He had better talent then.
It's Nick Foles.
Yeah,
It's
Nick Foles.
man. It's Nick Foles.
Well, I'm just saying it's the NFC North is intriguing now because of Nick Foles.
No, it's not.
I think
Nah,
so.
that's
He had
one
a
game.
good
That's
run.
one game,
He
and
had
that's
a
the
good
Falcons.
run in Philly. He had a 4 or 5 game stretch, and he parlayed it into a Super Bowl. He parlayed it into a big contract. But he is what he is, who he is. I mean, if he was a great quarterback, he would have came in and took over for Trubisky when he got there. He was in a battle up until the last couple of days of training camp.
Well, maybe that was because of the GM, like you mentioned. Maybe the
But
GM was like, you know what I mean?
he's serviceable. He like FIFO said. I watched that game this past weekend. For what the Bears do and what the Bears need him to do offensively, he's very serviceable. He can get it done, but can he beat Green Bay? No. Aaron Rodgers is playing out of his mind in the second year in this new offense. Aaron Rodgers looks better now than he did last year, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
Without Devontae in the last game.
Exactly.
Without
That's true. And also, don't forget that Detroit is on a 1-game winning streak in that division as well.
Hey, come on now, Sheldon. Come on.
Hey, man.
Leave my lines
Detroit.
alone.
Hey, shout out to be in Detroit, man. They won, man. They took out Arizona. That was tough.
Earl Thomas is likely to sign with the Texans.
They already came out and said they're not signing him.
They're not signing him?
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
Yep. I just saw it on Bleacher Report.
I thought
Hey, Earl must have done something. He must have done something besides that fight because nobody's picking him up. They treating him
Yeah,
like
it must be something deeper, man.
Somebody
Yeah.
called. That's somebody made a call.
yeah. Somebody made a call. I mean,
Somebody's gonna pick him up though.
He's on the street.
At this point, I mean, if Dallas said no,
It should be Dallas. That's it.
He's not gonna be a free agent the whole season.
Dallas needs him more than anybody.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I agree.
especially after that last game with Seattle.
Yeah, that's his only hope.
I want to give a special shout out to Jennifer King being the first and only Black female assistant coach for the Washington football team. She was an intern.
When did that happen?
She was an intern in Carolina with Ron Rivera, and he took her over when he left to Washington. So yes, that was a thing that was showcased on Sunday night or the Sunday morning pre-show.
That's what's up.
Just want to give a shout out to her. But the Jets, I wish Manny was here to talk about this. What are they gonna do about Sam Darnold?
They gotta trade the team, bro. And look, okay, he looked very bad. He's going backwards. He moonwalking the hell up out of it.
Is he going backwards or he just stuck in neutral?
It's a little bit of both. He
in neutral and it's on a slope.
You know what I'm saying? And look, I know I've said I'm not saying like he's the greatest quarterback ever. I just think a la a Nick Foles, you know what I'm saying? I think he's better than Nick Foles, but I think he's definitely a starting caliber quarterback. He's gotten a real raw deal.
You think he's just in a bad situation?
He's in a horrible. I think he's in one of the worst situations for a young quarterback to be in. You know what I'm saying? In the NFL, you got wishy-washy management, GM what the hell are you drafting?
Right.
O-line, weapon, like what are we doing here? You draft me, and then what else are you doing for me? And then I don't think that they're doing a really good job of surrounding him with the players and the scheme and all of that stuff to nurture a young quarterback. Now, with that being said, look, he's not absolved of blame because we saw Andrew Luck come in and go win 10 games his rookie year. And obviously that's Andrew Luck, but we see Joe Burrow. You know what I'm saying? We're seeing guys that don't really have a lot and still do something. So I'm not saying that Darnold is trash. He's not at that level, but he's more than serviceable.
I just never trusted USC quarterbacks. To be honest.
Yeah.
That too.
Like
That too.
if you look
Yeah.
at the
All of
record,
them.
if you look
All of them.
in the past, the darlings in college
Barkley,
football that
Who's
were
the lefty?
supposed to
Lionel.
that were supposed to be like next level when they get to the pros, they never do nothing
never.
in the pro level.
Carson
man.
Palmer.
Yeah,
No,
like,
Carson Palmer was
he had a
That's the best one, though.
Yeah, he
yeah,
was the best
I was
one.
gonna say,
Yeah.
he had a solid career, but for the most part, all the overhyped USC quarterbacks, they go to the league, nothing.
Kim, why was you shaking your head?
Because Ken was
just-
he was agreeing
it's
with me. Because Ken was agreeing with me. You
It's
don't trust
just
in USC, motherfucker.
It's not that, man. I just this dude gets a lot of passes, and I understand there are some dynamics at play here that that can't be controlled. But
He ain't letting shit around.
Y'all favorite word, context, right, Kim?
I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna say it again. I've said it on this program. I said it back when it was happening.
Mhm.
Sammy Darnold had a very similar turnover-prone year the year before he came out. Very similar to Jameis Winston, and they made every single
speak on it.
excuse for him in the book
Mm.
that they did not give Jameis Winston. Now, I understand context, Nick, that Jameis did some fucked up shit, and that they didn't want to let him get away with that fucked up shit, partly because he was black and partly because there was a lot of fucked up shit. I understand all that. But when we're just talking about when you hold the two up together outside of the fucked up shit, when you're looking at the game and the similarities that they had in terms of turnovers, it's equal, and the media coverage was starkly different. So here's Sammy in his third year looking freaking terrible, and it's been everybody's fault except his. It was Todd Bowles' fault. Oh, we got to get him out of here when he was winning games with Ryan Fitzpatrick, and so they got rid of him. And then Adam Gase come in and he's high, and it's his fault now, and it's not Sammy Darnold. Maybe Sammy Darnold just isn't. Maybe he has all the talent and the measurables and skill set in the world, but maybe it's just lacking up here.
Or maybe he just don't got the players, and instead of it being the head
Cam
coaches,
Newton did have the players, and he still performed on the field.
Cam
the same
Newton is
thing.
a whole nother tier quarterback. But maybe
But
it's more the
they
GM
put
than
they
anything.
put Sammy up on that pedestal like he was supposed to be that guy too.
People did. I never did, and I feel you. People have.
But the point is that if you are that guy and you have that talent, then you should be able to overcome. Let's look at Joe Burrow in Cincinnati.
100%.
Like he's elevating those guys there,
Mm-hmm.
and
He
they
can
haven't won a game yet, but they look. I
Vastly
mean, they
improved.
look good.
He looks like he was the number one overall pick.
Yeah.
Like even
Right.
with that horrible offensive line where he
Mhm.
can't
Right.
breathe for a
Mhm.
second.
I mean, they shit on Baker. They never shit on Sammy, ever.
You know what it is, Ken, and I could be wrong with this, but maybe Sam Darnold is as good as he's ever going to be.
Right.
Maybe,
I think he's a bum, by the way, for the record. I've been
You know what,
calling him a
Kyle?
bum.
Kyle, you know what? And if that's the case, then I'm okay with that.
right. But
Yep,
but
I'm okay
folks
with
not
that.
gonna call it what it is. But maybe maybe what he did at USC that was as good as he's gonna be. Because like you said, the one thing that NFL GMs always say about players is that when a player has it, you don't have to describe it.
No.
It shows. You don't have to just like with Joe Burrow. I've seen Joe Burrow play. Joe Burrow has it. He looks like a legit NFL quarterback. Sam Darnold looks like a 10-year backup quarterback. He just happens to be starting for the Jets.
Don't let Shelton hear that.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say nothing about it. Y'all know what I feel about Joe Burrow.
Yeah, you're
What do you say about
delusional.
Joe Burrow?
That's what.
He's
That's
super overhyped, and I've watched all these games this year. These little 8 to 10 yard passes. Yeah, I ain't seen it yet.
Well, I mean, he ain't got time to throw the ball. Come on now.
I still got to
But,
see it.
you know, and in fairness to Joe Burrow, and I'm gonna shoot, you know, Sam Darnold some bail. The quarterback position in the NFL is similar to the point guard position in the NBA, and we always talk about how it takes 2 to 3 years, sometimes 3 to 4 years before they really hit their stride. Sam Darnold is in that. He's in that lane where you either gonna break out or you gonna bust, one of the two. And Sam Darnold looks like a bust to me.
He's looking like a bust, and I'm not like Adam Gase isn't the best coach in the world, so I understand that he don't.
I thought he was
have
supposed to be the
weapons.
quarterback whisperer.
Yeah, but well, that's what they say. But my thing is, I'm same energy. Like, where's the
Right,
criticism for him? And it's not just about Jameis, because I said Sammy was the white Jameis Winston, I believe. But it's about Baker Mayfield. Let's just hold him up to somebody that's the same color as him. Baker Mayfield, like they be dogging Baker Mayfield. And
But
I
see,
understand he's the number one pick.
No, but you know what it is, Ken? Baker Mayfield has OBJ, Jarvis Landry,
Mm.
Austin Hooper, David Njoku, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt.
And who,
What's the problem?
And well, Freddie Kitchens.
No,
Kevin
Baker Mayfield.
Oh, please.
Baker Mayfield's the problem.
Please.
What do you mean,
please?
please?
Not all the way.
He's
I'm
been in
not.
Not all the way.
he's been in similar situations as Sam when it comes to the organization.
No,
Not,
and
you know, the coach carousel that he's been
Right.
in,
and
you
I
know.
understand that, but whoa. First of all, when you're talented, like Kyle just said, it shows. I have not seen it yet with Baker.
He did when his
Nope.
first when he started. What was it, Monday night against the Jets?
Okay,
Hey,
one
Nick,
good game.
Nick,
That was the
One
season.
good game.
Baker-
No, come on.
No.
Look, he got OBJ, which is a legit number one wide receiver still in the NFL.
fact.
D Hop has been with Arizona for all of 48 minutes. And this man got damn near 30 damn catches in 3 games.
Better coach.
Yeah. And he's
Better
throwing
quarterback.
Baker's throwing for about 160 some yards a game. So I ain't gonna say he good at
Better
nothing.
quarterback.
Hey,
Bro,
I-
come
look,
on, man.
I agree with FIFO. I think Baker Mayfield is he hadn't shown me he's got more commercials than he's got wins.
He does.
Career backup.
That's
At most.
fine.
Yeah, we're
I'm
not
not
defending
But
Baker. yeah.
all I'm saying is that we just cannot overlook the coaching. And I said it before, I'm gonna say it again. When he was winning games, who was the coach? And it was the great whatever his name was. And then they fired him. That's when Baker looked good. That's when people were hyped about Baker going into the next year. What happened?
But,
got rid of him
to
and brought
FIFO's
in-
point, Ken, to FIFO's point, Ken, Baker Mayfield has better weapons than most of the quarterbacks that we're comparing him to.
Probably all of them.
Yeah,
But the,
Yeah,
coach,
but-
the
but-
coach don't know how to
yeah.
use them.
Kyle, to your
Yeah.
point, you brought up the Atlanta Falcons, right? Matt Ryan has some of the best weapons in the NFL. Yet, what is their record? And who do we say that? Who do we blame that record on?
well,
I'm just saying,
But Matt Ryan has an MVP and he has a Super Bowl appearance.
Under
Does it look- does it look like it now?
when Steve
We don't-
Sarkisian was there. When he had a better coach,
Kyle
they know how to
Shanahan.
use it.
Yeah, Kyle
Shanahan, my bad.
You know how I feel about coaching because I was a coach once upon a time. So you know I feel and respect the coaching ranks. However, at the end of the day, it's up to the players to go and play and make plays.
right.
When I
Fact.
watch Baker Mayfield play, and it's not like a Sam Darnold situation where it's like, who the hell are you throwing to? We could give Kyle a fucking jersey and he could go catch a damn pass for the damn New York Jets. This dude Baker has OBJ, Jarvis Landry,
He got
Austin
better.
Hooper,
Yeah.
Njoku, Chubb, and Hunt. What is the problem?
You put
He got better
Sam
weapons.
Darnold under center and Kevin Stefanski and Freddie Kitchens offense, you're gonna get the same
Hey,
result. Shit.
well, you know what? You might because
Shit.
they might be the same damn guy.
Yeah.
They might be the same damn
That's
guy.
the only point I'm trying to make.
Yeah,
That's it.
Baker got better weapons than
Nah,
Patrick
Ken.
Mahomes.
Nah, Ken. I'm rolling with FIFA on this one, man. We're out of excuses. There is. I'm gonna look it up before we get out of here. How many times have Baker Mayfield thrown for 300 yards? How many times has he thrown for 400 yards? With this
Like
type
10.
of play, come on, man.
Man,
With these
and
type of playmakers around you, come
He
on,
has
man.
He got better talent than Mahomes and any of the other people we named. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Westbrook. Russell
He got weapons.
Wilson. Any of them.
Yeah. Hey, look. Let me ask this because I've been bewildered about this report. all week, 2 weeks now, almost damn 3 weeks of the NFL. They're talking about trading OBJ. How in the hell you gonna trade OBJ when he's not the issue? Baker is the problem. Get rid of Baker.
No, you can't get rid of Baker.
How can you not?
He's the number one pick.
Not yet.
It does not.
Not yet.
Hey, where the hell did they draft Trubisky? Top 10? Get rid of
Top
him,
three.
bro.
He was top
What is
3.
we talking about?
He's
You
still on
got
the
team.
no. But you got to get rid of him now, or bring in somebody else that can compete and take the job. Because look, Baker is the issue. It's not the old line. It's not the and I don't even know nothing about no Dan Stefanski. But I tell you this, he better than Freddie Kitchens.
He got 2 wins.
I
He got
know
2 wins
that.
already. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he knows what Baker ain't. In the last game, we saw that.
He treating him like Jimmy G.
Exactly. 23 passes. We ran the ball damn near 40 times. And that's
Yeah,
what they're
Baker
going to have
has-
to do to win.
Baker has
But
6.
the way that this offense is built, they shouldn't be having to run to set up the pass. They should be able to do whatever the hell they want to do.
Right.
And that's the issue. Baker is the problem. Get rid of Baker.
But but get rid of him for who?
Right.
For
Are you gonna draft another
anything.
QB and then have
Yes.
to wait another? If that's the case, then OBJ is useless.
Draft
at
a
that point.
QB, sign Jameis, do something.
Oh, Jameis about to be starting in New Orleans by
Possibly too. But I'm just
Stop it,
saying,
Ken.
I'm just saying, you have to go with another quarterback option because Baker is not the guy. And this team, this entire team is ready to win now.
They
This
are.
ain't no, oh, we got a window. No, you got to win this right now.
You know when I realized they might be in trouble? When OBJ came out of like, look, I just know I'm not gonna have the numbers that I'm used to having. The receptions, the receiving yards.
how-
I'm like, oh,
You know how I know
shit.
they was in trouble when look at OBJ's Instagram. It's all God Bible quotes. He trying to get some type of motivation out of this shit.
Like he been through a breakup or
It's
something.
all- he
know-
no
he
one
know this-
formed against me.
He know,
shall
he know this some
prosper.
bullshit, huh?
He talking about Baker right there.
Oh shit. But you know what? Okay, slightly staying on that topic. Where would you want to see OBJ traded to? I want to see him go to Green Bay.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that'd be
Hey,
nasty.
I-
Aaron
But Green
Rodgers.
Bay-
I'd hate to say that. I hate
cool.
to see this come to fruition, but what if he went to New England
Woo!
with Cam?
Cam,
That's what I was thinking about.
that's a problem.
OBJ in New England.
That's a problem.
Shit.
I was thinking about Cam in Cleveland. That's what I was thinking.
That too. They should have signed him.
Yeah, they should
Same
have.
result.
That's another
Yeah,
one.
but-
Same result.
But Odell's not he's not the issue in Cleveland.
What,
He's
Ken?
Same results.
No,
He
sir.
hyped-
Look at that on the stage,
He
man.
hyping. He just hyping. What was you saying, Kyle?
no. I was gonna say. I mean, I'm with people, man. I don't understand that even thought about trading him because you don't trade away you trade away players when they're declining. He's not declining. It's your quarterback, and you know I read a report saying like they felt like Baker was forcing the ball to him. You don't have to force the ball to Odell Beckham Jr. You can just get it to him. Unless he's in the locker room asking for the ball or in the huddle bitching the moaning about not getting the ball. It looks to me like they're looking to do the same thing that the Giants did, was find a scapegoat. Odell Beckham Jr. is not the reason why Cleveland's offense is struggling. It's the quarterback. The same
no,
reason.
I don't know if
You're
he's a
right.
scapegoat this time.
But in all fairness, I think that the only reason that, and this is me playing devil's advocate a little bit because I wouldn't trade him, but the only reason that you could be thinking to trade him is for that reason you named. You know he may go into one of these tantrum modes at some point. You
But if
really
he
don't
ha-
feel. You really
if
don't feel like you at that Super Bowl level. So let's try to trade him while he has a high value, and we get the max back for him. That way we can start building some of these pieces around him.
Okay, so my question to you, Shelton, is why trade for him in the first place?
Because in the first place, I think they thought it was going to work. I think that what they were
Okay,
thinking
so
was
why hasn't it worked?
Baker. And like I said, I'm with you on that.
Okay.
I'm 100. No, I'm 100%.
Okay, I got you.
It's Baker. I'm just
Okay.
trying to play devil's advocate and say, well,
Gotcha.
maybe this is what they're thinking. You know, we can't really get rid of Baker right now, so we're gonna get rid of him to try to get back what we can get back. That's the only logical way of looking at that, and the only reason that they would do such a thing. But
That's
Yeah,
hella
Baker,
illogical,
like-
though.
I agree. Like I said, Baker to me, Baker should have been gone. If Baker was black, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Being gone is a stretch because he just
If
got-
he
like,
was
this
black,
is
he'd be
his third season.
Tyrod
And
Taylor.
he has 2 wins on this.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Hey, call Kurt Warner, bro. Call somebody. they call all these other white quarterbacks to come and play.
Hey.
Matter of fact, hey, go get Kaepernick. Hey, I guarantee you, Kaepernick ain't having these type of bacon problems.
Don't set up Cap to fail now.
How can look? If you are a competent quarterback, how
Yeah.
can you fail?
It's
You
Cleveland.
can't fail.
It's Cleveland,
Yeah,
bro.
it's Cleveland.
I'm
No,
not
you
calling.
can't. No,
Cleveland
I
been
think
sorry
it-
all my life.
I think you
Real.
change the quarterback, you change the culture. And you bring in one of those culture change. That's why I said if Cam had with there, it would have been different. Cam is a culture changing quarterback. He brings confidence. He brings a certain flair to your team that's missing. And Baker don't have it. Like we said, Baker got more TVs
that's
for touchdown passes. So
If Cam Newton was with the Cleveland Browns right now, we'd be talking about Super Bowl contention.
correct. Because how you gonna stop him?
All right.
Kevin Stefanski.
Let's get to these week 4 game picks.
Wait. Hold on. You skipped the game.
Who was that?
Danny Dimes. What? We ain't got nothing?
You mean against the NFC winning champs?
Okay. All right. We can hold off. We can give him another week.
No, the NFC winning champs.
Bro, it's the second year in COVID, bro. Come on. No preseason, none of that.
Y'all switch up the energy, bro.
Bro, what's the energy switched up?
I need Mr. Disrespect to the
Bruh,
stage. We need Mr. Disrespect to the stage
Bruh.
because Mr. Nicholas over here is an imposter.
I'm just saying, bro. This is literally his second year in the league. Chill out. Somebody always was hitting me up on Twitter like, you still think he the guy? Chill out, bro. He ain't even 20 games deep into his NFL
Nick,
career.
it's gonna
Come on.
get
Hey.
ugly.
Come
Without
on,
Barkley,
Dave.
Yeah, without Saquon. Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, Nick. The reality is they could be in the sweepstakes for Trevor Lawrence.
bro, they're not gonna
That's
do
the
that.
reality.
Now Freeman gonna come in there and
So
tear
you
it
mean
up,
tell me
man.
they ain't got the number 1 pick, they ain't gonna take Trevor?
They're gonna trade it.
No.
Nah, bro.
Why would you get Trevor?
because
Well,
after
here,
watching
here,
Danny all year,
What's
Here's
Trevor gonna
the
do that? Like the offensive line is shit. As you can see, Danny has no time to throw, just like
oh,
Burrow.
I ain't watching that shit. I just
I'm watching it. He
Here's
barely
the
has
thing,
time.
Nick.
What
They
weapons
don't-
does he have? We talk about Sam Darnold with the weapons. What weapons does he have?
And he's way more mobile than Danny Dimes.
it's
Yeah.
so funny, man. Danny had that one game. Remember, he had that great game.
against Tampa.
Everybody was talking about
Hey.
him. Man, they don't even
Trash.
cover that Daniel Dimes anymore.
And he in New York.
First of all, greatness takes time, kid. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
no. Hey, look,
He showed you that X
no,
factor.
not
Hey,
at all.
Kyle,
Not
he
at
showed
all.
me that. That's all I need.
Yeah, the it
Not
factor
at
was
all.
missing the
I ain't gonna do this to my guy. I ain't gonna do this to the legend in the making.
Hey, Nick, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, no, if I don't think that's gonna happen, but yeah, if they have the number 1 pick, they're not gonna trade it. But what happens is that they have to move on from Daniel Jones at that point, and the GM and everybody with him is gonna get fired because they stuck their neck on the line for that pick, and they're married to that pick. And Gettleman's already on thin ice as is. And obviously nobody's foresaw, Saquon getting hurt, but he's the best player on the team. You remove him off the team. Yeah, you're looking at a team that might win 3, maybe 4 games this year. Yeah, I mean, they will be in play. They're going to be they're going to be drafting in the top 3 or 4. So it's not without the realm of possibility that they could be, in position to get the number 1 pick. I mean, that's down the line, but I'm still holding out hope for Danny Dimes.
Oh yeah, you a Giants fan too.
Yeah, I'm holding out hope, man. I'm holding out hope.
All right.
But I don't know.
All right, let's get to these picks. Y'all just mean. That's all y'all wanna do.
No, Nick. The problem is you came out talking all that trash, man. And
What do you mean? What trash? I just
the
said
fellas-
they made the right choice.
Nick,
Oh.
you were the one that called him Danny Dimes on this program, and that's why the fella's giving you hell.
Hey man, shout out to Mike Tomlin, 3-0, man, because we don't got a lot of black
Yeah, nobody
quarterbacks.
talk
I
about
mean,
that.
coaches, man. We can
Yes,
celebrate.
sir.
Eric Bieniemy might be the. I would hope that he becomes the next head coach of the Falcons. I would like that.
Hey, they could have had him
I
this
would-
year if they'd have fired
Dan
Quinn.
Quinn's not gonna make it through the.
I would.
Nah, he
He
ain't.
didn't even make it to the bye week. I don't
No.
think.
Yeah, he should have been fired
I
after
say
that.
week
So
5.
why is Dan Quinn still hired now? That's the question I have. I mean, I don't root for
Yeah.
people to get fired, but he should have been fired.
Maybe they still doing interviews. That's why.
And shout out to the white Cam Newton too.
You talking about Josh Allen?
Josh Allen, man.
Hey,
That's
he
my
balled
guy.
like a motherfucker,
That's
boy.
my guy, man.
Hey, speaking of coaches, they may Cowherd said they may have the best coaching staff because
Mhm.
they said when that boy first got drafted, he looked lost.
Yep.
Now he found himself now.
Yeah, I can't remember the numbers exactly, but so many turnovers and interceptions and fumbles, and now in the last 11 quarters or 10 quarters like that, 10 touchdowns, no interceptions.
And he got a cannon.
Yeah, he do. He do.
We'll see what happens when they play.
Damn, Kyle.
We still waiting on that. In the meantime, these picks last week, I think most of us went 3 for 1. Our picks for the Seattle Cowboys game, Packers Saints, Chiefs Ravens, and that extra one with the Rams and Bills. People you indisposed. Yeah. We left you off on that one. This week, the 3 games that we got, or the ones that I'm proposing to y'all, they keep on throwing these black quarterback matchups. New England at Kansas City. Who y'all
I
got?
don't know how I feel about this. Y'all making the black people go against each other.
Yeah.
Got Chiefs in that game.
Who playing?
New England at Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Yeah, the Chiefs.
I'm going Chiefs.
Chiefs.
I'm going Cam.
Okay.
I'm going Cam.
You mentioned Tomlin. Pittsburgh at Tennessee.
I mean, you already know, man. Still
Pittsburgh,
all
baby.
day.
Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Hey, that game might not happen.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Hey, you know, it's funny because I called him out for lying about those COVID tests,
You sure did.
and all of a sudden everybody got it.
Somebody listening.
Yeah.
Somebody listening to us.
I'm
That,
telling
yeah,
you,
that game
that's
is
the FBI.
that game is it's up in the air right now.
If that game does play out, I got Tennessee.
I got Pittsburgh.
I can't pick the same as Nick. I'm going with Pittsburgh.
Y'all, bro. Y'all foul.
No, I'll stick with Tennessee. Though.
Last one. 2 quarterbacks who are fighting for their careers right now. Cleveland at Dallas.
Damn.
We got
Wow.
Dallas.
Dallas.
We got Dallas.
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 Give me Kevin Stefanski.
I'm about to say I may go Browns with that. Because the way right now with Dallas, I think Dak is playing himself out of Dallas.
Why? Why you
This is
think
how
that?
he's been playing.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying he's playing himself because he's throwing up good numbers, but they're not leading the wins.
That's not
That's
his.
how
None
he's
of
been
this
playing.
is, this is true.
I'm talking about just for this season.
No,
true.
that's how he's been playing.
Last season.
Nick, okay, we're gonna do
This
this.
is what I'm saying. Last season, I don't see him fumble as much, throw these many picks. Starting out the gate for this season, he's doing that a lot. Like that Seattle game, even though it was close and it came down to a last winning drive that he could have made, but he put him in a position where they had to come back. It's just not looking
It's
good.
not all his fault. That secondary is terrible, and I don't think Mike McCarthy, from what I'm hearing, is doing a good job of coaching.
And it is his first year, new system, terminology things, little nuance. But in all reality, what Dak is doing is what Dak has done.
Yeah, it's par for the course with this. Yeah.
All right, those are our picks for week 4. Anything else y'all want to discuss? Can you still? You seem like you still
Hey.
got something to get off your chest.
Hey man, look. So Skip came out and said that people say I hate LeBron James, blah blah blah. So I'm gonna name 10 things that I like. So at first it was like, oh, that's kind of honorable, and then I realized it's because he lost a bet. So it wasn't even sincere.
And he said petty things like he's a nice guy. Number
Yeah,
one.
it's like all bullshit. And I think a lot of this was cute in the beginning because I think people really thought that he sort of felt like this. Stephen A. Specifically spoke highly of him all the time, but Stephen A. has a heart for certain people that he's cool with. Like, so he can overlook certain things. But I think at this point where we are in this world, with us dealing with certain things when it comes to Black people and optics and how things are perceived, I think the Skip Bayless constant minimizing of LeBron James has to stop. And I'm just looking at and observing how he's done with a lot of Black athletes, and it's kind of through no fault of his own because most of the athletes in sports are Black. But we look at Dame, we look at Richard Sherman, we look at Paul George, we look at Kawhi, how he turned on him. You know, it's like these guys are supposed to be out there performing for him, my team, you know, my quarterback, my this, that, my. But the fact that this guy made a whole career off of talking negatively off of a black guy that is succeeding after all of these years is very problematic. And it's not the beginning of it, but the continuation of it. Like in this year, here we are, he's still doing the same thing. He finds a way to always give the credit to somebody except LeBron. And even in the game that LeBron scored 16 points in the fourth quarter, he said and tweeted, oh, the biggest shot in that quarter was Danny Green hitting that three. Or even if it was the last game or whatever game, it was like, it's always somebody else except LeBron. Oh, congratulations, LeBron, you know, for the easiest path to the finals. Oh, LeBron, we know the Clippers would have beat you. Like it's always something else except LeBron just being great. And it's gotten to the point where the shit is getting old. Like enough is enough. So you have to be, it's what we do on this show is we fairly criticize people for falling short or for making mistakes. And we prop them up for doing things that they've done. You know, and I think if he was fair in what he's doing, I would be okay with it. But I think also going to the optics, here it is, we got this white man. And I don't think Skip is racist. I think people were accusing me of saying that. I don't think Skip is racist.
I think he's a jackass. That's it.
He's definitely a jackass, but I think he also is just kind of innate in him. Like when Dak was winning for him, It was great. When Dak wanted to get paid, he trashed Dak. Another example. But you also got Shannon on there. And here's this white guy talking shit about black athletes and stars. And you got a black guy on here who has to excessively defend these guys to the point of absolute ridiculousness. And and I applaud Shannon for doing that. But at some point, Shannon be like, hey man, look, this enough is enough. He got to pull him to the side and be like, man, in this day and age right now, you gotta stop it.
He called him out one time. I think it was like a year or something ago where he was like, bro, he said something to Skip like, bro, I just think you just like, you really hating. Like he said it like real flat. And Skip took offense, like, no, I'm not doing this. I think he called him one. I don't know if they had like a private conversation, out, you know, off camera about it, but it seemed like he tried to check him before, and it's just like, this is who he is, and I just gotta accept it.
But we shouldn't have to accept it. And that's what I'm saying. I think we're at the point now where we don't have to and should accept this, because LeBron is proven he's had his fair share of failures, and he's been fairly criticized for that, sometimes overly criticized, but the failures are the failures. But when there are successes, he needs to get those successes too. You can't just make a top 10 list because you lost a bet and just say he's a nice guy. What kind of shit is that? So when he's on TV, he's a white guy, and that carries a certain thing with it. And it puts out the wrong type of energy we need now in this world. So Skip, the shit got to stop, bro. And Shannon, you need to have a private conversation with him, mainly because of where we are now in this climate, where we don't have to accept this type of shit from white people, honestly, to be blunt about it. You know, for a guy that made his whole career. You take LeBron out, where's Skip? Writing for a newspaper somewhere. You know, and he's not on national television. LeBron made him who he is, and he made it because he dogged him every single step of the way. And enough's enough. Enough's enough. And I encourage everybody to, you know, if you feel the same way, you know, to speak up. Speak up, man. We shouldn't have to accept this. We've had to deal with this shit for long enough.
It'll be interesting to see what happens to Skip after LeBron leaves the game.
I've been waiting on that
It'll be interesting
moment.
to see how, you know, NBA is in
He
general.
probably found somebody else to pick on.
Yeah, but
because he was kind of on Iverson tough, and then when Iverson left, that's when, you know, Brian was in the league, and he kind of had another, you know, somebody else to pick on. So
but right now I don't even know who we say is next up. You know what I
you
mean?
never know. He
Well,
might find somebody.
You know what it is too, man. Even to touch on B's point and to further Ken's point, there's no level of accountability. That's part of the problem. There's no level of accountability. Sports didn't always used to be like this. Sports, you talked about sports and you remained objective. their show is a show where you have two commentators that are openly rooting for teams and openly rooting for players. And so for as much as people don't like Skip, they tune in every week or every day for the same old shtick. You know,
Sure.
he said about Dak, which was deplorable. You know, Dak, that man lost his brother. And Skip didn't even apologize. I saw a clip because I don't watch this show. I stopped watching it because
Yeah,
I
me
refuse.
too. I don't. Yeah.
And he said what he said, and people were outraged about it, but they came back and watched the next day. So his thing is just to say something.
He be on the roll too.
know.
Yeah. Kyle, you muted again. You went away, Kyle. We can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I don't know.
It looks like he's still talking.
I think Kyle closed his eyes when he was talking.
I can hear
Oh, there
you.
you go,
There
you
we go.
back.
There you go. I think he back.
You said the thing is, and then you kind of went up.
Oh, my bad. The thing is that he says stuff about LeBron on TV that he would never say to him face to face. And so, you know, it's like I said, it's up to people like us and the people that listen to this show and everything. You know, stop tuning into that stuff, man, because he's made
Yeah.
way too much money to change.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, I don't watch anymore. I just got over it. Even with Shannon, but yeah, the Dak thing was it bothered me. Because that's something that we're trying to change within our community, the Black community, and it's a big issue that's being talked about globally, whether you're Black or white. But for him to go on national television and say the things that he said, and for Shannon to lightweight check him, I don't think that was good enough. So the accountability part is spot on, and they should have suspended Skip, honestly, for what he said. You know,
I thought they would.
Yeah.
At least for a show.
you know, for him to say what he said on the day that he said it, where you know, because I think they were celebrating Mental Health Week or what day or whatever it was, but it was a big deal, and for Fox to write that letter to distance themselves from the statement, and for him not to apologize, I think was bad. So it shows that when these guys don't do what he expects or wants them to do, or when it doesn't fit his certain narrative, he just goes in. And you know, he does the same thing with Aaron Rodgers, but that's fine because he's a white guy who has privileges that Black people don't have. You know, and we're always behind the eight ball. So accountability, Kyle, I'm with that, man, and he needs to be called out. And Shannon, you're with him every day, and you got to get tougher on him.
Right.
And
you know,
you gotta,
I don't think he can. I don't think Shannon can call him out, but so much because it's Skip's show featuring Shannon.
Right.
You know,
it says Shannon and
well, it
Skip
says
and Shannon.
Shannon. It
Skip,
says
Skip is the headline.
but
Skip's
Skip is
name
the
is first.
headline. And so, like, some of the stuff Skip will say now, he wouldn't have said at ESPN because Stephen A was the bigger star. Stephen A would have checked him. You know,
good
Shannon
point.
doesn't have the same cachet at Fox as Stephen A has at ESPN. So even though Stephen A and Skip appear to be friends, if you will, you know, he wasn't going to do that. So at Fox, they've given him the leeway to do and say whatever. Because how else will you explain Fox making that statement that they don't stand by that statement and not suspending him? He would have gotten suspended anywhere else. But again, you know,
Fox got a
it's
bare
money.
cupboard outside of Cowherd and Skip. It's a bare cupboard. You can't.
Exactly.
ESPN, you see, they got a rotation of guys. They can fire what's her name, Jamel Hill and Michael
Yeah.
Smith, and they'll have
Mhm.
somebody else replace him.
Mhm.
Can't say the same at Fox.
You're right, Kyle. I could definitely see that, but also Shannon, if you're up there preaching and talking about Black this, Black that,
I agree.
then you got to do it, and it don't have to be publicly. It could be behind closed doors to try to get him to shave some of that shit off, because it's just ridiculous now. At this point, and again, I'm all for fair criticism. Like there was one game LeBron was shit. AD bailed him out. That's fair. But when you put up 16 and you come up and find everybody else as the reason behind winning that game, that's not right. So yeah, that's it.
That's it for me too.
Cool. Man, so man, it was good having you back on the show, bro. And Q came through, man. It was just like everybody,
time.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good old times. Yep.
No doubt,
Mhm.
no doubt.
Yeah,
I got to come
we-
back out there, man. It's been a minute.
Yeah. Well, you know where we are, man. So
For sure.
yep. So anyway, that's gonna do it for us, man. We'll catch you guys next time. We out. Peace.
Peace.
Hey, Kyle,
Happy-
let me know what day you want to do that on your
Oh, for
podcast,
sure. Yeah.
Kyle. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll definitely I'll hit you up tomorrow.
All right, bet.
Y'all boys be
All
in.
right, happy anniversary, Kyle.
Appreciate the show. Appreciate it, man.
Well, I'm here.